figure out how to, because we can't just not talk about it, but.
With the weather and all that,
Right. I got it. 6:04. Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane, off and running. Brian here with you. Bree Lynn producing, starting off your Monday morning at 48 degrees in downtown Baton Rouge. How about the possibility for a freeze tonight?
what is going on?
I know.
Old man winter's
You know
not
what?
so much.
You know what? What happened was everybody went out to the wearing of the green, or in my case, down in the St. Patrick's Day Parade in Metairie.
Yep.
Everybody got a little sunburn. So Mother Nature said, I got just what you need for a burn, a freeze.
Oh, there we go.
That's what happened right there. Oh, my goodness gracious. Broadcasting live from the 180 Pro studio in downtown Baton Rouge. We are ready to rock and roll on this Monday morning. We got a huge show lined up for you today. I will start by noting this, and we're going to see how quickly things can work this morning. When you're the first show to start of the week, well, sometimes when bad weather rolls through, you get to put your network to the test, or your IT professionals to the test. We get to be the guinea pigs, though, as we're the first ones out the gate. So we've got some network issues that are being worked on right now. I will tell you, we are scheduled to have Senator Bill Cassidy's interview at 6:35. However, I recorded that before bouncing out of here on Friday, so that'll be kind of dependent upon. I will tell you this, though. Moral Dilemma Monday is coming your way at 6:52. Medical Monday at 7:15. Dr. Kelly Finan joins us. We talk colorectal cancer awareness month. Mary Beth Derrickson from the Louisiana Association of Business and Industry is on at 7:35. In the 8 o'clock hour, State Representative Jessica Domingue going to be in studio with us. We're going to talk carbon capture. She wrote a great op-ed at the hayride, and she just so puts it in perspective. That'll be 8:05. Moon Griffon. We talk about everything under the sun with Moon at 8:15, and then we'll wrap up with another episode of the BREC Room from 8:30 till we're out. Right now, though, we start you off with top stories and trending. Starts us off with a freeze watch. We will be under a freeze watch in the greater Baton Rouge area from 10 p.m. tonight until 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. We're also under a red flag warning from 1 p.m. today until 7 p.m. this evening. Basically, the wind that's going to be whipping through here in the afternoon and evening, going to make it cold or colder. Now, we are going to tick slowly back up as the week wears on. I'm sure you heard the forecast. Did we hear the forecast on the way in?
Yeah, blistering.
Okay,
is what he said.
Blistering would be the right word. So, but a freeze watch, a post-St. Patrick's Day freeze watch in Baton Rouge. Louisiana House District 69 once again has representation. Paul Sawyer beat out 3 other candidates, grabbing 53% of the vote on Saturday. Turnout, as expected with the wearing of the green parade, was low at just over 16%. Now, that does feel low overall, but down in New Orleans, they had a state Senate race, and only 10% of people showed up. Which, by the way, side note there, former New Orleans Mayor Sidney Bartholomew, his son, Sidney Bartholomew Jr., is now a state senator in New Orleans. It would help if I would scroll right. LSU women's basketball draws a 2 seed in the NCAA tournament. They'll be in the Sacramento 2 bracket, where UCLA is the 1 seed. The Tigers will play Friday in the PMAC against 15 seed Jacksonville. Tip-off time has been set for 5 p.m. The line has LSU as a 44.5-point favorite. A juvenile was injured in a shooting Saturday at the Reserve at Jor apartment complex, officials confirmed. I got the call around 6:50 p.m. Victim was taken to the hospital in stable condition. The injured juvenile told deputies he believes that the shooting may have been related to ongoing gang beefs. Southwest Airlines announced that it will be discontinuing services to 2 U.S. airports in June. On Friday, the airline announced that it will no longer serve Chicago's O'Hare International Airport and the Washington Dulles International Airport beginning on June 4th. Meanwhile, last week, you might remember Mike Edwards from the Baton Rouge Metro Airport said on this show they're already in talks to add a direct flight from BTR to Chicago and a second daily flight to D.C.
President Trump says he is talking to several countries after policing, the Strait of Hormuz, allowing oil to flow freely. Tongue twister.
This is where we're starting off rough this morning. So the Strait of Hormuz.
I knew I was saying it wrong.
I know. It's all good. So this is going to be big. If we want our gas prices to go down, the Strait of Hormuz has to be open. That's the long and the short of that. We see that thing open up, gas prices will drop. This is just that's as simple as can be. Now, as far as the policing they can do, I don't fully know. I'm sure he's got a plan. I just don't know it.
Huh.
Yeah.
Though one battle after another took home Best Picture at the Oscars last night, Sinners, it was filmed right here in Louisiana, was a big winner, grabbing awards in 4 categories.
Including Best Actor was Michael B. Jordan. Best Original Screenplay was in that number. And there were 2 more that I'm not remembering off the top of my head.
I know that those 2, everybody talks high about those. So yeah. I need to watch them.
Yeah, I haven't seen it either.
I haven't
you
seen
and me
either.
both. We both need to watch that because, I mean, A, filmed right here. B, when was the last time a vampire movie caught the attention of the Oscars?
I don't know if it ever has.
I can't
think.
Right?
It must be that good. A vampire. It must be that good.
I've seen a few clips and I desperately want to see it. The thing is, it's not the type of movie my wife would like. So
I don't know if I would like it, but if it's well renowned,
yeah,
you got to watch it.
Well, yeah, she doesn't do scary, and there's a lot of scary in this.
Okay,
but there's deeper levels to it, as I understand.
Drama as well. Yep.
Yeah.
All right, so I went last night, so I'm running on fumes. Louisiana's live affair with the Savannah Bananas continues. More than 70,000 people packed the Superdome for Banana Ball.
You went out last night?
3 o'clock. What was first pitch in the dome?
So they did more than one.
Yep, they did Saturday night and they did Sunday at
3
3
that
o'clock.
70,000 was it the first one or over both?
I think both. It encompassed both.
The clips that I saw, it looked like the dome was packed.
It was packed. I was up at the top.
The
no
dome
sleep,
seats
but I loved it.
They seat 72,000 for a Saints game.
Okay, so that was each night. Yep, it was
the pregame
fully packed.
concert was bonkers. I saw a lot of video when I got home.
Drew Brees came out last night.
Drew Brees came out.
I loved it.
Tyler Shuck was out there, I believe, on Saturday.
Yeah, he was.
Which my good friend Tyler Shuck now. I don't know if you're scrolling through Facebook, but
oh yeah, you got a picture.
Yeah,
with him.
I ran into
You
Tyler
got a
Shuck on
selfie.
Metairie Road yesterday. How about it?
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, and I'm not normally the can I grab a pic guy, but
You were like, man, I got to.
He's just out there. I mean, wearing like a green hockey jersey because it's the St. Patrick's Day parade. Oh, so backstory: I marched in the Metairie St. Patrick's Day parade. So while the wearing of the green on Saturday is the best parade that Baton Rouge does, it is the best day on the count of the calendar year in Baton Rouge. Aside from like a home game where sport or where ESPN college football game day comes, like aside from that, the wearing of the green is phenomenal. I love it. It's top notch from start to finish. I love everything about it. It's just not my parade. My parade's down in so yeah. No. I mean, look, I want to be very clear. You know when I knock Spanish Town and I call it a mobile orgy? Okay, that's what that is. The wearing of the green is awesome from start to finish. I absolutely adore it. But my parade's down in Metairie. So is where I was at yesterday. And
got your selfie.
Yep. He's just out there on the route. And one of the guys I'm walking with is like, is that Tyler Shuck? And I'm like, I think it is.
I'm going to go grab a selfie.
We're going to try and get him in the parade next year.
That's
amazing. We really need the kicker. We need to get the kicker in the parade because he's Irish. That would be a perfect match, right?
Go.
Yeah. So
yeah, but the banana ball was fun. My boys loved it. We hit traffic on the way home. Traffic was horrendous on the way home. Everybody coming back home to Baton Rouge and Lafayette.
Well, just a lot of people. Well, not just. I mean, so you could have combined banana ball with the Metairie St. Patrick's Day parade. Does jam up I-10 westbound afterwards.
Okay,
so
that's what we were sitting
in. Yeah,
if
you hit traffic, say between Causeway and the Spillway, that's what that was.
Okay.
So. All right, it is 6:13 to talk 107.3 FM WBRP. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, baseball staved off a sweep. Softball, not so much. We'll talk about them both next.
That could. So when we stopped to use the restroom, all my boys were like, "Why is everybody in jumpsuits and green and their hair with?" That's why the pepper is burning.
It's huge. People don't realize how big it is. We have over 100 units in the parade. Like between marching groups and floats and trucks.
Oh, so how long roughly? Like 2 hours?
Maybe
it's long. Damn.
When you see a tax on carbon capture, remember, millions are being spent missing. These radicals don't care about you. In Louisiana, we stand with Trump. We stand with oil and gas. We stand with carbon capture. Get the facts. Visit magaenergy.la.
Now a check on your drive from the Talk 107.3 Traffic Center.
Eastbound I-10 from LA 415 across the river to Highland, that's 14-minute drive. I-12, 11 minutes. You can choose it from Splits and westbound I-10, Highland to Bridge, 12 minutes there. We're seeing a bit more volume as we move along, and we do have standard power outages this morning for all the heavy weather.
Phones work, Paul.
This report is sponsored by Staples. Staples has hundreds of great ways to boost your brand, like spectacular signs, brilliant brochures, eye-popping posters, out-watering menus, and more. Shop now through April 18th and save up to $125 on your custom prints. Staples, that's easy. This report comes to you from the Talk 107.3 Traffic Center.
Buying or selling a new home? Mid-City Title makes it easy. Mobile closings, expert services, midcitytitle.com.
McDonald's. You have to catch up on them with her coming back.
Okay. Spilled coffee all over me again.
Oh,
That's 3 mornings in a row.
Hold on, you got time. This song's pretty long. All right, here you go.
Thank you.
Phones do work. Just
Cool.
on internet, so I can pull up.
All right. We'll get there with the cuts. 616 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. It is sports time. We will get you to LSU women's basketball in our next segment. They'll be Friday night in the Maravich Assembly Center. Let's go ahead and start you off, though, with a little bit of baseball talk here. LSU baseball on the road yesterday. Not the best of performances. I will give some credit on Friday. They were down early. I mean, like down big early, and mounted a comeback. They were down. I want to say it was. It might have been. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's just pull up the box score here, rather than mess around with the score by innings. Right. At one point, they were down 10-4. Mounted a comeback. Ended up taking a 12-10 lead, and then drop 3 in the bottom of the ninth and fall to Vanderbilt 13-12 in the opener of the series. So not the worst right there. You know, you do post up an L, but you did show a lot of bats the whole way through. Sporadic pitching throughout, although the fourth inning when you gave up 5 was not the most ideal. Then you come out on Saturday with an absolute dud, losing 11-3. And then managed to salvage one game out of the series with a 16-9 win on Sunday. The Tigers were neck and neck with Vanderbilt, and then really turned it on in the late innings, 7th, 8th, and 9th to pull out the 16-9 win. So 1-2 in conference play means that right from jump, you've got some ground to make up. Right from the start of things, you've got to you're working from behind. If the goal is 20 wins in conference play, then that's 2 out of 3 every series on average. So now you're going to have to pull a sweep at some point along the way in order to make up that ground. LSU baseball, they've got the Jay Johnson show tonight. We'll play Grambling State tomorrow night. That's a 6:30 p.m. first pitch in the box on our sister station, Eagle 98.1. The Tigers are home for the next 2 conference series. So really 8 straight home games. Well, no, 9 straight home games. Grambling tonight, 3 against Oklahoma, 1 against Louisiana Tech, 3 against Kentucky, and then one against Southern before they don't hit the road again until April. In the meanwhile, softball's not looking real good to start off conference play. 0-5 to start off SEC play for Beth Tarina's Tigers, as they are it's a struggle bus over there, y'all. Which, looking ahead to this weekend, I'm trying to see. So they dropped 2 to Texas A&M. They'll play one more time. Actually, that game's tonight, 6 p.m. right here on Talk 107.3 FM. We're coming up on the Fox Business Report here at Talk 107.3. We'll take a quick break. I'll have traffic for you on the way back in from that break. After that, we'll talk a little LSU women's basketball in the NCAA tournament. That's coming up next on Talk 107.3. Okay.
All right, you want to keep talking? Go ahead.
No, just hit the break.
Yeah, Brian, you want to keep talking? No, I don't want to talk. Yeah, Paul's like the satellite town, so you won't have anything feeding in.
If we can get the shared drive up, like that's the most important one.
Starting a computer, just hoping because we have internet on this one. It's updating right now, though. Of course, naturally.
The fucking updates.
Oh, and that thing wasn't plugged in. That's why. So
Yeah.
Barry and the crew came in and just helped
Is there?
turn it down.
Yeah.
Active liver is available online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com. Or you can find it in stores at CVS, Meyer Grocery, Wegmans, and now Active Liver is available at your local GNC.
Now a check on your drive from the Talk 107.3 Traffic Center.
All right, heading back to the Talk 107.3 Traffic Center. Let's see what we get. Of course, now this is going to freeze up on me too. Our Monday morning is actually starting off relatively nice right now. Did not know that. Relatively nice to start off your Monday morning. Interstate systems, no real major delays that I'm seeing right now, as it's working slow for me over here. It's up and running, but working slow. All right, no major delays to start off your morning on the interstates. I'm being told, we'll get to that in a second. I-12 westbound coming in from Livingston Parish looks good. 12 east, 10 westbound coming from Ascension Parish looks good, and 10 eastbound coming back across the bridge from West Baton Rouge Parish also looking good. Surface streets, there are no accidents to report right now, but I'm seeing some delays on, what is it, Jefferson Highway as you approach I-12. If you're on Jefferson eastbound approaching I-12, yeah, you're going to find some slowdowns from, say, Baton Rouge Country Club up to, up to the interstate. So that is your look at traffic from the Talk 107.3 Traffic Center. Also, I just got a text, and I need this confirmed for me over here. The text says, did you know that 70808 is out of power? I tell you what, let's go ahead and I'll see what I can dig up on that in just a little bit as we make our way through the morning. But good heads up right there. 70808 being without power this morning. We'll see if we can't get a hold of Entergy and see what's what on that front. That's your look at traffic from the Talk 107.3 Traffic Center. Got to remind you about the folks over at Mathern's, downtown on 3rd Street. Yep. Highland Road, just west of Kenilworth, the Mathern's at Kenilworth. And, of course, on campus in the Nicholson Gateway Shopping Center. Mathern's has got you covered all baseball and softball season long. The closest grocery store to Tiger Park, the closest grocery store to Alec Box Stadium, and, well, apparently the closest grocery store to the Maravich Assembly Center, as we're not done playing ball in there just yet. More on that in a second. But Mathern's has got you covered at all 3 locations. They also have the Rewards app available at all 3 locations. Love the ease of use of the Mathern's Rewards app. You download the app, you scan the little barcode every time you check out. It does all the mathing for you. It puts the coupons where they need to be. Need to be. I get that every time I go downtown to grab lunch as well. So using it as well. The Mathern's Rewards app. Download it today. LSU women's basketball gets a 2 seed. And do we have no? Okay, you're good. LSU women's basketball gets 2 seed, and I got to tell you, the way the bracket maps out, I kind of like where they're at. Well, you always have to like it when you're a 44-point favorite on your home court in the opening round, which, by the way, as I mentioned, Mathern's being the closest grocery store to the Mavericks Assembly Center, and then probably stay as well in the same Assembly Center, getting potentially 2 more home games. As long as they beat Jacksonville on Friday, they'll get another home game on Sunday. But I was looking at the bracket last night, and I love the seeding here. I love the division that they're in, and I'm trying to pull up a new bracket again. See, this was my fault. I closed everything out to get it all open again, and now we're running, but slowly. All right, so you got Jacksonville. Meanwhile, who you're paired with is the 7 and 10 game. That's Texas Tech and Villanova. My guess is if LSU makes it to that game, they're going to be another 22, 23-point favorite for that one. Looking ahead on the Sweet 16 front, you've got your 3 seed Duke taking on Charleston, and they're paired up against Baylor. And I don't remember who Baylor's got. But if Duke advances all the way there, hasn't LSU already beaten Duke this year? Oh, that's right, they have. So your pairings are well to get you at least to the Elite 8. Now you're in the same bracket as UCLA, and you're not going to find an easy path to the Final Four. There is no such thing as an easy path to the Final Four. But if you ask me who I would not want to play in the Elite 8, between UConn, South Carolina, UCLA, or Texas, I'm eliminating South Carolina and UConn right off the bat. I would much rather play either UCLA or Texas in order to advance to the Final Four. And it's just, maybe that's just me, but UConn is running at a ridiculous clip right now, undefeated right now. They've got a deep lineup. They got a strong lineup. South Carolina has had our number for some time, and it's only a matter of time before that turns around and Coach Mulkey overtakes South Carolina. And it will happen. It will. Same day flight. Fly out there in the morning, fly home in the evening. It is unbelievably convenient. It starts at flybtr.com, flybtr.com. Not just the Washington, D.C. flight, which we tell you about all the time because it's amazing, but it's not just the Washington, D.C. flight. It's so much more when you talk about the number of flights that you could find, either direct or with layover or with a swap of plane along the way. They've got you covered over at flybtr.com. All right, couple heads up for the rest of the show. We might have to do the same thing at 7:15 with Medical Monday. Was there do we don't have weather?
We did weather.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we did weather.
All right, college athletics remains in the forefront right now with all the wild, wild west that's out there between NIL, rev share. Now there's a lawsuit involved up in Washington, D.C. President Trump had a sit down. Senator Cassidy had a sit down, and Senator Cassidy joins us now to talk about that and a few other things. Good morning, sir. How are you?
I am doing really well, Brian Haldane. Really well. I mean, good. We are blessed. Up the scholarship, which is important, to now where they are getting something, but like some of them are ending up worse off than they were before. And they don't get that much from the NIL institution loyalty to them, and they're not. So it's not a pro football team in a tax exempt university. No, it is a student athlete, and you're taking care of that student athlete. That's what our roundtable is about.
All right, give me some examples of how they could be ending up worse. Because I mean, on its surface, it's like, no, you're getting paid. You're heading down. You're getting paid and getting an education at the same time. But there is a path where this doesn't end up where the athlete thinks it will.
Yeah. So I'll give a couple examples. College Temple, the LSU great, was the first one that, and he mentors a lot of these athletes.
Mm-hmm.
He says, you come to LSU, you spend 4 years, keep your nose clean, and the universe will love you and take care of you. He goes, now somebody changes every 4 years. They don't graduate. They have no loyalty to the institution. They haven't developed the soft skills you need to say go into the business, and they end up making a minimum wage job. Auburn coach who smoked a cigar on the eye of the tiger, if you remember that, Auburn. He goes, he goes, there are some kids who are like getting exploited more now than they were before. He was always for revenue sharing, but he said the way it's working now is that some kids end up with nothing. I talked to Nick Saban on the that the young person graduates and is set up for success. Let's have a standard contract. This is something that people think about. And I am the chairman of the committee that will go over the education aspect, the labor, and the pension part of it.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe some people should have a standard contract like they do in the NFL, so there's not some relative taking a 40% commission on whatever contract the young person is signing. What about Title IX, for example?
Oh, yeah.
We all know the implications of Title IX. Right now, Title IX is not really factoring into the way that they're doing the distribution. So is that a problem? It could be a problem. But by the way, you've got to take care of the revenue-producing sports like football and basketball, because they're the ones that produce the revenue to support all the other sports. So, it's a complicated thing, and I can't tell you off the top of my head what we're going to land on for answers.
Mm-hmm.
But if somebody got some thoughts they want to share, they can go to help, H-E-L-P, help.senate.gov. That's my website of my committee, and they can put their thoughts in there.
Help.senate.gov is the website if you've got commentary or a suggestion to share along the way. So you talk about the possibility of an athlete signing a contract. Would that make the athlete, because I know this is being litigated right now, would that make the athlete an employee of the university, or are we looking more like a 1099 situation?
And now they're getting a 1099. Now, if you just make them an employee, a traditional employee, they'd have to pay taxes on their scholarship, taxes on the training table food, taxes on any other extra benefit they get, as well as the money they receive. Now, one of the labor attorneys said, if you're required to keep a GPA of say 2.0 to remain eligible to participate, would you have to be paid for the hours that you're studying? So there's a lot of complications there. Now, then you can say, no, wait a second. Let's make them an athlete. Let's make them like an NFL player with a collective bargaining agreement. That's a little bit more complicated, too.
Yeah.
Well, first, there's 26 NFL teams. They have 45 players, maybe 5 on the injury reserve. Mm-hmm. The SEC has 16 teams, each with 105 athletes. And you go to all the other Power 5, you end up with a lot more athletes who are there for 1 to 6 years with different interests. The senior wants to stay an extra year, and the freshman doesn't want him to. So there's just a lot there that's more complicated than, say, the NFL or, say, your local labor union. Democrats would like to leave the door open for unionization. I'm not sure the athlete would be best served by that, but that's what we're talking about. We're trying to figure it out.
All right. So where's the want to, if you will? How much is the appetite of Congress to really tackle this? Because I mean, up until now, y'all have been a little bit timid on this front, but I feel like the issue is being forced.
So there's two parts to it. There is the different committees, at least on the Senate side. Mm-hmm. The Commerce Committee, the NC2A, wants to have antitrust relief so they can preempt different state laws that states are putting in to make their colleges and universities at an advantage relative to those in other states. So they would like some antitrust exemption. That's not my committee. Some people want to try and control the amount that can be paid to the athlete. That's not my committee either. So what I can look at is how do we put the student back into student athlete? How do we put restrictions that make sure that if a university is trying to recruit away athletes from another university, they are upfront as regards, okay, you're going to lose this many hours. This is how long it's now going to take you to graduate. And so the student athlete has a sense of what they will need to do to complete their education. have some protections so that if a young person is enticed to go into the portal with promises, that someone guarantees those promises. Initially, there are people going into the portal that didn't land any place. They ended up worse off than ever. So how do you have full disclosure for that student athlete so that, again, he's a student first and an athlete second?
What are next steps here? I mean, you've had a roundtable, so as the president. Are y'all going to get together to trade notes?
So the president touched on a lot of different issues. He says he wants to do an executive order, but then he said as soon as I do it, they will somebody will sue, and that's what happens.
Yeah.
If we do a law, then the law is the law, and so we're going to look at the testimony that people in his event, but we're going to have a committee hearing at the end of March. And then we'll try and draft legislation. We'll work to pass it. Now, you always get feedback from the administration, and so it'll be kind of a go back and forth effort. But we're going to try and get something up there because even the people, like a Democratic senator came, thanked me for holding it, said it's really important that we have this. He goes, I don't like the old system, but I think that the current system not working well either. So, I mean, across the spectrum, we don't like the old system, but the current system needs to be fixed. By the way, College Temple or LSU Great did a fantastic job of kind of, representing this is not where we need to end up. We need to keep on moving to find a solution.
He always does. We got about 90 seconds left with Senator Bill Cassidy. I want to ask you about the campaign, but I don't even know if you can get home with the lines at the airport as long as TSA shut down. How is the campaign rolling?
Well, first, let's just say, Democrats in Washington, D.C., please vote to fund DHS. We need to put the TSA. Let me just say that. And the campaign goes great. We have a poll, just did it. And frankly, our poll 3 or 4 weeks ago had Congresswoman Letlow ahead of us. Mm-hmm. And now we are ahead of we're ahead of her. Been a 6-point swing or an 8-point swing. And so that's the momentum we knew we would get. People want somebody who is delivering for Louisiana. I have delivered for Louisiana.
Last one for you, and that's talking about approach here because we do have closed primaries. So you got a tighter deadline on making sure that your message is out there. How has that changed approach, or has it?
No, well, it just means we're advertising now, not in October. But people got to know that it's 16th and that no party can vote. So it's a Republican primary, but no party can vote in the Republican primary. By the way, there's some people who registered to be a Democrat when they were 18, and they've been voting Republican for a while. It doesn't matter. You can easily change your registration. You go to GEAUXvote.com, govote.com, and in 3 minutes on your smartphone, you can be eligible by becoming either no party or Republican to vote in that Republican primary.
He is Senator Bill Cassidy. I appreciate you carving out a couple minutes this morning.
Thanks, Brian.
Thank you.
Good morning, y'all. I love that commercial.
as well. You can be an absolutely vital resource. So thank you, Chris, and else who is feeding this information. We're going to get to Moral Dilemma Monday in just a quick second. I do need to remind you about Industry Makes. IndustryMakes.org is their website if you want to check them out. If you're wondering who Industry Makes is, they're a campaign born out of collaboration and a need to present a unified industrial front in the face of coordinated anti-industrial messaging. We understand that anti-industrial messages might target one company or several, but they hurt the entire manufacturing industry, which is the economic backbone of Louisiana. Manufacturing and industry up and down the river and the small businesses that service them, that is who we are as a people. We make everything America runs on, and that's how we feed our own families as well. Well, every time you turn around, there's another concerted effort. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and predict it right now. You're going to see news stories tomorrow that have anti-industrial messaging in them. If you want to learn more, if you'd like to become an ambassador, visit industrymakes.org. All right, time for Moral Dilemma Monday. Let's hit it. Taking you to Oakland Park, Florida for this Moral Dilemma Monday. Shout out to WAFB for sharing the story. And for that matter, shout out to my wife for putting it in front of my face. She's like, this would make a great Moral Dilemma Monday. I got 2 paragraphs in, and I'm like, yes, it absolutely would. So a Florida priest has racked up more than $500,000 in fines for continuing to feed the homeless after the area around his church was known more than a decade ago. For 36 years, Father Bob Caudell has been feeding the homeless at All Saints Catholic Mission in Oakland Park. For the last 12 of those, he's been locked in a standoff with the city, which alleges he's operating a non-permitted soup kitchen. In 2014, quote, in 2014, they decided to rezone the power line area. They told me fallaciously that you have to stop feeding. You're not fitting into the new zoning, Caudell said. Despite the rezoning, Caudell kept feeding the homeless, offering them showers and giving spiritual guidance. Turns out there's a price for that. Quote, long and short of the case is we are suing them to stop the harassment because it's over $500,000. It's $125 a day since 2014, and they put a lien on our building, he said. So he already took the city to court in January, but Oakland Park's attorney successfully got the case tossed because of a missed deadline. Meanwhile, unhoused people depend upon Caudell. They're offering to give them a hand up. Jeremiah Williams is one who's been going there. He says he's been coming to church for the past few months as he works to get a license to drive a tractor trailer. And he's one of many stories that this news story goes on to talk about. So, Brie Lynn, I put it to you.
It's heavy.
So,
It's so
heavy.
You know, and I know we're not supposed to get overly religious, but he's doing what the Bible says. He's being the hands and the feet of Jesus.
For I was hungry and you
people.
gave me to eat. That
Yes.
is the exact quote. Yes. That is the genesis of what we need to
Yep.
be. It's not from the book of Genesis, but that is the genesis
Yes.
of what we need to be. Be our brother's keeper. Be here for
Yep.
our fellow man. Be here to feed them and clothe. And that is the basis of who we are. Now, he's been doing this longer than the zoning's been around.
Correct.
But the zoning came around. Now, I assure you, this was rezoned, and I don't know this level of backstory here, but I assure you this rezoning was because people started the neighborhood their own, and they decided we don't want those dirty homeless around us anymore. I assure you that's how this played out.
Everybody together and said, we got to make this happen.
Right. So by the way, the All Saints Catholic Mission is not affiliated with the Archdiocese of Miami.
Oh.
So he's going to get no help, legal or otherwise, on the back end. That
The support
right.
isn't going to come behind him.
Right.
Wow.
I know.
So this man all by himself, trying
Pretty
to do
much.
the greater good.
Yeah, pretty much. So $125 a day, and he hasn't stopped. And now it's $500,000 overall. I've got to ask the question, though. Here's the moral dilemma question: is do you keep doing what's right in the face of, like, you keep doing the work of heaven in the face of the pains on earth? I mean, this is a direct conflict for him.
Yay! Everybody's like, Brian, there's something wrong with your signal. Brian, Brian. Hey, y'all. Good morning. We're on it already.
Alan's correct. I did miss a no soup for you joke.
What's that from, by the way?
Seinfeld, soup Nazi. The app isn't working either. All right. Well, we're not gonna be able to get to that anytime soon. We're got wait. Well, we don't have access to that. That's in the back, isn't it? Everything went down all at once. Yes, it did. Yes, it did. It's been a morning, y'all.
I'm assuming Paul knew that the app isn't down, but I'll tell him when he's going back.
Let's make sure everybody else is up first before we get the app back on. Because if it was running, then people have a way to get to us on online. So
Yay, at least we got satellite back.
yeah.
Power's out in the Garden District, Kevin said.
Garden District 2?
So that's Jimmy and Alonda.
Oh, look at that. 70808 is the okay, it spills over to so I was looking at the bottom side of that. That's so it's out in South Downs and the Garden District.
So that's Jimmy, Alondra, there's somebody else who lives out there too.
It's not that much of South Downs actually. The everybody stopped wearing. You remember we ever used to wear WWJD bracelets? Yeah, I think everybody stopped wearing them when they realized what Jesus would actually do. You know,
And then you're walking around chewing somebody out in traffic and you're
right,
wearing a WWJD.
right, or you're kicking people out of Soup Kitchen.
So look, I'll wear my little cross bracelets. It keeps my in check. So when I'm like,
Got my Fishers of Men bracelet
there you go. It keeps me in check. So when I just want to
from Bruce starting near St. Rose. Yeah, so I had that one, Kevin. I wasn't reporting. Okay. Yeah. All over, boss. This is the same outage. All right. And we're happy to have you on Facebook Live as well. Bum.
Alan, when I move down there, I'm 100% get a 1073 sticker, put it on my Jeep. Do we got stickers?
I don't know. We need to start upping our merch game. Our merch game is awful. Like at 929 Misfits. I know we're not gonna have a car. I've given up the ghost on that one. I would rather a few t-shirts or something. Car magnet. I want either a t-shirt or a sticker or something that says the Glorified Crew, KREWE, for the folks in the Facebook chat. Which is this dates back to like the beginning of the show. So everything's a Sopranos reference, right? If it's not a sports reference. Yeah. Right. So the Sopranos is the Sopranos family out in Jersey, but New York they don't recognize them as a family. They're a glorified crew. So whenever it says, "Hey, Facebook fam," well, no, it's a Facebook glorified crew.
I love it.
Yeah, that's how that got born many years ago. .705 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Hour 2 coming your way right now. Brian here with you. Bree Lynn producing. We're starting off your 7 o'clock hour at 45 degrees in downtown Baton Rouge. Oh, as we're broadcasting live from the 180 Pros studio. 180 Pros, not your IT provider, your IT partner. To learn more at 180pros.com. Big hour this hour. We got Mary Beth Derrickson from the Louisiana Association of Business and Industry joining us at 7:35. We're going to talk about the education bills that are getting ready to be introduced in the state capitol for this session. Also, Dr. Kelly Finan going to join us at 7:15 for our Medical Monday segment presented by Our Lady of the Lake. Dr. Finan talking about colorectal cancer awareness month. Right now, though, we start off your hour with top stories and trending. Whole lot of folks without power right in the heart of Baton Rouge, some of South Downs, a lot of mid-city. There's a down tree on Broussard near St. Rose, leaving a number of folks. Oh, you know what? That's not far from Zealand Street either. I wonder if
Miss Stephanie.
I wonder if Miss Stephanie's been able to be up and running. But the trees limbs were touching the power line. So we had some earlier in the morning, some electrical arcing and smoking going on. But the long and the short of it is we've got a big power outage right in the heart of Baton Rouge. Number 4 takes us to Saturday evening. Louisiana House District 69 once again has representation. Paul Sawyer beat out 3 other candidates, grabbing 53% of the vote. Turnout Saturday, as expected with the wearing of the Green Parade, was low at 16%, but not as low as it was in New Orleans, where it was just 10.5% for a state Senate race. Former New Orleans Mayor Sidney Bartholomew's son, Sidney Jr., picked up that win. LSU women's basketball draws a 2 seed in the NCAA tournament. They're in the Sacramento 2 bracket, where UCLA has the 1 seed. The Tigers will play Friday in the PMAC against the 15 seed Jacksonville. Tip-off time has been set for 5 p.m. and the line on this game has LSU as a 44.5-point favorite. A juvenile was injured in a shooting Saturday at the Reserve Adjore apartment complex. Officials received the call around 6:50 p.m. The victim was taken to the hospital in stable condition. That injured juvenile who was the victim told deputies that the shooting may be related to ongoing beefs between gangs. Southwest Airlines announced that they'll be discontinuing services to 2 major U.S. airports in June. They made the announcement on Friday. The airline announced they will no longer serve Chicago's O'Hare International Airport and the Washington Dulles International Airport beginning June 4th. Meanwhile, just last week, Mike Edwards from the Baton Rouge Metro Airport said on this show that they're already in talks to add a direct flight from BTR to Chicago and a second daily direct flight to Washington, D.C. Pew, 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 pew.
Well, President Trump says he is talking to several countries about policing the Strait of Hormuz and allowing the oil to flow freely.
Let's go. Let's get it. Let's go police that strait, baby.
Lower
whatever
our gas
it
prices.
takes. I know. That's as soon as that strait opens up, our gas prices will start to drop.
Gosh.
I mean, there's a 1-to-1. There's a literal 1-to-1 connection on that. So get her done.
Yep, I'm right there. Though one battle after another took home best pictures at the Oscars last night, Sinners, filmed right here in Louisiana, was a big winner, grabbing 4 awards in 4 categories.
Yes. So best original screenplay was one. Best best actor for Michael B. Jordan was one. I'm trying to remember the other 2. Let's see. Maybe a little chat GPT can help me out on this one. Okay. Best actor, Michael B. Jordan. Best original screenplay, Ryan Coogler. Best cinematography, Autumn Durald Arkapaw. And best original score.
Man.
Oh.
It must be good. I said this last hour, but I have yet, and I'm a movie buff, and I'm a TV. I'm into The Pit right now on HBO Max.
That looks so good.
It's good. The Pit is good. 10 out of 10. recommend.
Mhm.
But my other one are these two because they keep racking in awards. I keep hearing about these shows constantly.
Yeah.
I'm like, they must be good. Louisiana's live affair with the Savannah Bananas continues. More than 70,000 people packed the Superdome for Banana Ball, and I was there yesterday.
So what we don't know is if that was 70,000 over 2 days, but I was looking at some of the Saturday footage, and it looked like a packed.
It
like,
was packed for us yesterday.
It like all three levels there.
Yep, all three levels were
Plaza,
stacked.
club,
Yep.
terrace.
Yep. It was crowded.
Yeah.
Very crowded.
Yeah.
Everybody loved it. Everybody had a blast. They brought out Drew Brees yesterday, Tyler Shuck the first night. It was just, and when Drew Brees came out, I was hoping he was going, which it ain't his territory, it ain't the Saints, but I was hoping he would give us one last and throw his hand down and who dat?
He did.
No, but he did, but we didn't all collectively, who dat?
Oh, yeah,
Who dat?
yeah.
I would have cried.
Yeah,
I would have just started weeping.
So you had Tyler Shuck on Saturday, and Tyler Shuck Sunday was out on Metairie Road. Which
I know.
was awesome.
And then Drew Brees yesterday.
Yeah. So, but yeah, well, you have both of them just rocking the Superdome.
I loved it.
But yeah, so yesterday is my St. Patrick's Day parade. I say mine, like I march it down in Metairie for that St. Patrick's Day parade. Just happened to run into Tyler Shuck on Metairie Road, NBD.
Like, hey, friend.
No, yeah, hey, what's
Hey,
happening?
bud.
Hey, you need to be in this parade. He's like, oh yeah, I need to. I'm like, okay, cool, we'll make that happen.
I love how he just like nonchalant just starts walking down Metairie Road.
Yeah. Yeah, just rocking like this green hockey jersey.
I think it was a Dallas Stars jersey.
It was a Dallas Stars jersey. I
Ooh.
know. So, but I mean, he wore a little bit of green on for the St. Patrick's Day parade. Go get him. But how about like just full on embracing the city?
I love it.
If you're Tyler Shuck and you're the new leader of the team here, you're spending Saturday in the Dome with the Bananas fans and Sunday out on Metairie Road with 100,000 of your closest friends who are lining the streets for that parade. Like he's fully embracing the city.
Well, and here's the thing, Brian, we're fully embracing him as well because all the commentary on Facebook when he came out on Saturday, the love that just poured into this man.
What is true about Louisiana and always will be, if you love us, we will love you back.
Right.
That's and well, also win. That helps.
Yeah, please win.
And that helps. All right, we're 712 and Talk 107.3 FM. Quick break. We come back. It's time for Medical Monday. We got Dr. Kelly Finan next. And the open to Medical Monday is already mixed into it.
I'm going to have to, this computer is fine. This should be our last pre-recorded. Right?
Yeah. Byron says, I don't think Sinners should be thought of as a vampire movie. In my opinion, it's more about the loss of innocence and redemption. Quick question. Does it have vampires? Then it's a vampire movie. Like Dracula is about, Dracula's a love story. And you don't get to be more of a vampire movie than Dracula, right? That's the OG of vampire movies. Well, I'm sorry, Dracula as a novel is a love story. I don't know what the old school movies were, The one with Keanu Reeves why am I bricking on her name? Winona Ryder. And Gary Oldman. Gary Oldman was Dracula. That was a love story. How we looking?
Internet down.
So I have internet here, not here. It's the weirdest thing. So I'm firing up from the share drive on the internet computer.
Okay.
I'm like, okay, well, whatever works, I guess.
Well, because that's a local drive. That's why you didn't get to.
And satellites back up.
Yes.
Thanks, Paul.
All right, Gary. I'll be right now.
It's Time for your weekly checkup. This is Medical Monday, presented by Our Lady of the Lake Health.
It is time for Medical Monday, and today on Medical Monday, we're talking about colorectal cancer awareness and the symptoms that people should not ignore. Colorectal cancer is the second leading cause of cancer-related deaths within the United States, but screening and early detection can save lives. We're joined right now by Dr. Kelly Finan, who's going to discuss the warning signs that people should be watching for and who may be at higher risk, and a little bit about why screening and early detection are so important. Dr. Finan, welcome back to the show. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
No, always love having you on. You're always a wealth of information, to be sure. Plus, you keep me from going all juvenile about this stuff. So I greatly appreciate it. So March is Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month. Why is it important for people to be aware of colon cancer and the warning signs?
Well, I think you just pointed out, the number one stat we talk about is, it's so prevalent in our society. It is still the second leading cause of cancer death when you combine men and women together. And astoundingly, it is now the number one cause of cancer-related deaths in men and women from 50 years and younger. So it's something we just need to be very aware of. I mean, it can really happen to anyone. It happens to 1 in 24 people. So everyone just needs to be, aware of the signs and symptoms and when to get checked.
All right, you bring up that younger end of this, and we are hearing more about colon cancer in younger adults. What trends are you seeing, and why is awareness important right now?
Well, we've been watching this trend for the last 10 to 15 years, and we just keep seeing, earlier people getting colorectal cancer. In 2019, we actually changed the screening age from 50 to 45 because of these trends, but it's still not capturing everyone. So everyone should start colorectal cancer screening by the age of 45, but you should not ignore any signs or symptoms. I mean, we do see, unfortunately, 20, 30, early 40-year-olds with colorectal cancer.
Well, then let's talk about those symptoms. What are some of the most common ones when it comes to colon cancer that folks might just simply overlook?
Yeah, so it's not usually something that just hits you all in one day. So I think that's why people can kind of ignore it. It's something, a change, over some time, that people will develop bloating, abdominal pain, a change in bowel function, which we would define as an increase or decrease in frequency, a change in the caliber of your stool. So if they start getting real narrow, or you're only having loose diarrhea, blood in your stool, unexplained weight loss, all these things could be a sign that something's going on in your colon or rectum.
How often do we mistake those symptoms for something less serious?
Very commonly. And so a lot of people just think I haven't been eating right. I'm stressed at work. Oh, it's just my hemorrhoids. And so you just don't want to write that off. Unfortunately, because of that, and I think a lack of awareness, younger people tend to come in at more advanced stages of disease. Really? And the later we catch the cancer, the less curable it is. So that's unfortunately very common.
We're talking with Dr. Kelly Finan, and this is, of course, Medical Monday, presented by the folks over at Our Lady of the Lake. We do this every Monday, and as Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month wears on, that's what we're diving into today. So within those symptoms, are any that should immediately prompt someone to talk with their doctor?
Yeah, I think any of this should prompt. I mean, if you get constipated because you went to Disney and had a hard bowel movement and had a little blood on your toilet paper once, I mean, I'm not going to say that would cause me great alarm. You maybe flared your hemorrhoid or something. But I mean, I think if it happens a couple times, if it's a persistent thing, you're recognizing gosh, all of a sudden I've lost 10, 15 pounds and nothing's changed in my life. You're not just lucky, something might be going on in your body that you want to pay attention to. So I would, if any cause or concern, you'll never regret it. We decide it's just something benign, you're fine, but don't ignore it. And unfortunately, a lot of people, they get busy, life, kids, aging parents, family members, work. It is kind of the time frame where, everyone doesn't have a ton of extra free time. So, it's easy for us to always overlook these things, but it's so important to pay attention to your health and to get checked out.
Well, no, 1,000%. And you're talking I'm in that wheelhouse right now. My wife is dealing with her aging parents, and we have 3 children. So it just, the balance gets out of whack very quickly, and ignoring yourself becomes a little more regular than it should. Let's talk risk factors for just a quick second. What are some of the risk factors that might increase someone's chances of developing colon cancer?
Well, we talk about family history, and we push that because it's so important, but do recognize that the majority of colorectal cancers occur in people who have no family history, probably 90%. But if you have a family history, you do want to start screening about 10 years younger than a first-degree family member had cancer and also polyps. So you do need to know your family's history. People with inflammatory bowel disease are at a higher risk, but they should be under the constant care already of a gastroenterologist. But there are lifestyle things we can do. It's almost living a heart-healthy lifestyle can help your colon. We want to eat healthy. We want to eat lots of fruits and vegetables, high in calcium and folate. We want to try to avoid a lot of red and processed meats, alcohol in moderation, avoid smoking. A sedentary lifestyle can increase your risk. So, living healthy can make a difference. But it doesn't explain away all this early onset colorectal cancer. So we do think there is a birth cohort effect, meaning there's probably something in genetics that we haven't explained. It might be related to changes in our gut microbiome, probably a more sedentary lifestyle. And, I tend to believe a lot of this has to do with so much of the processed foods, monounsaturated fats we're getting. So it's a combination of things that put us at risk. Living a healthy lifestyle will keep all your doctors happy, and it can prevent your colorectal cancer, making good lifestyle choices.
No, absolutely. Across the board. Yeah. Just feeding yourself what your body needs is the right answer always. We're talking with Dr. Kelly Finan as part of Medical Monday, which is brought to you by Our Lady of the Lake. Dr. Finan, at what age should people begin screening, and why is early detection so important?
Great question. So everyone should start screening at the age of 45. A colonoscopy is the gold standard. And why we really push this is it is a test that is both diagnostic and therapeutic, meaning after you do a clean out, we can visualize the entire inside of your colon. We can see if there are any problems, but we can intervene at the same time. And one of the biggest takeaways is colonoscopy allows for cancer prevention because we can find precancerous polyps and we can remove them. So remember, 80 to 90% of colon cancer should be able to be prevented if you stay on top of your colonoscopies. We're going to miss those young onset because they're not at a screening age yet. And there can be, some genetic causes that occur more rapidly. But the beauty of a colonoscopy alone is that it does really catch those precancerous polyps and we can remove them. And if we are going to catch a cancer, we would like to catch it early, often before you have symptoms. So if we can catch, a stage 1 cancer that's confined to the colon wall, surgery alone can be curative with very high rates, like 95% cure. When we allow the cancer to grow, spread into the lymph nodes, spread to other organs, the cure rate decreases and the intensity of therapy, having to have chemotherapy, sometimes radiation increases. So we number one, like to prevent it. Number two, if we're going to catch it, we'd like to catch it really early. So that's just why early detection means so much. There's other tests out there. You can do blood in your stool that's not very sensitive. The Cologuard is pretty good at detecting cancer, but realize it's very poor at polyp detection. So it's not a good preventative test. So that's why, I'd always stand behind a colonoscopy, that any test is better than nothing. So we really just want to try to make sure we're getting as many people in our community screened as possible.
Do we know how fast it advances? Detection obviously being very, very important. So do we know how fast it advances, or is that kind of a case-by-case basis?
Well, so we think that from the development of a small polyp to growth into a cancer can take anywhere 7 to 10 years. So that's why if you have a completely normal colonoscopy, you don't have to get another one for 10 years. So it's actually a pretty slow growing cancer, which again is why I'm so passionate about talking about prevention, because I really think we could do a lot better for, getting ahead of this and screening more people and catching patients when they have precancerous polyps before they develop into a cancer.
Okay. I mean, that's that, because it's something that, if we're being completely honest, it's a part of the body we try to ignore. We actively try to ignore. So that's a good note on the back end about the 10-year screening. Dr. Finan, do what? Oh, on the back,
on the back end. Good
see,
punch.
you're supposed to keep me in line. That was you this time. Dr. Finan, we know community awareness plays a big role in encouraging people to get screened. You're also involved with Get Your Rear in Gear, the 5K run and walk that raises awareness about colon cancer. Tell us a little bit about that event and what efforts are going to look like, why efforts like this are so important.
Yeah, well, we have helped put this event on in Baton Rouge. This is our 16th year, we're proud to say. It is an event. It's just a fun day, a 5K run walk. It allows us to continue with educational and awareness events. It also provides an opportunity for us to celebrate those who are fighting the disease and those that have survived the disease. And it helps us remember those we've lost to the disease. I'm sorry. So we get a lot of runners and walkers out there. We have people form teams in honor of a friend or family member. So again, like you said, it's something that people have a hard time talking about. I think we've really demystified breast cancer and prostate and lung cancer a little bit more. So we're trying to do the same because everyone does need to talk about it. And while I understand you're probably not going to sit down with your friend at lunch and ask, how's your bowel function going today? It's something we need to demystify, that it's okay to talk about if you're having a problem. So we can find these signs and symptoms. And, at best, definitely go talk with your doctor.
Absolutely. So for those that might be experiencing symptoms or if anybody's due for a screening, how can they schedule an appointment and take the first step towards protecting their health?
So, you can reach out if you're experiencing any symptoms, contact your primary care doctor, contact, gastroenterologist. I'm a colorectal surgeon. Just reach out to someone to get on, the books, talk about it, get evaluated. And, we can help decipher if those symptoms are concerning, if further workup is warranted. But don't just, let it go a year before you bring it up to someone. Again, early detection could save your life.
She is Dr. Kelly Finan with Our Lady of the Lake. Of course, Our Lady of the Lake bringing you Medical Monday every single Monday. Dr. Finan, we always appreciate the time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. 727 at Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. I want to take a quick moment to remind you about the folks over at NeuroJust. Oh, man. Carter LeBlanc from NeuroJust was in on Friday, brought with him a guy named Mark Norman, who had been a patient of NeuroJust. And we got to hear another fantastic testimonial and something I would not have thought about. NeuroJust, they treat anxiety and depression. And normally when you think about that, you think about the worst case scenario where the constant fight or flight of anxiety bubbles over into depression, where it just takes you down and exhausts you and wears you down to the point where you have trouble seeing anything as a positive because you're just so beat down. Well, Mark, the guy who was in here on Friday, he got to the root of the matter before getting there. He had driving anxiety. And believe me, with Louisiana's roads and Louisiana's bridges, I get it. If you're ever on I-10 at 4:30 in the morning and you see 18-wheelers and like apparently everybody's constantly late to get to work at 4:30 in the morning because everybody's doing 90 miles an hour on the interstate, I get it. People just flying by you. Then you go over a bridge and think about the Lake Charles Bridge, right? A little anxiety riddle right there. Anyway, Mark got out in front and got treated for his anxiety with the folks at NeuroJust and TMS therapy. He had tried to sit down with a therapist. That didn't really take. The prescription drugs, definitely not for him. When he sat down for TMS therapy, transcranial magnetic stimulation, went through the whole process, all 36 treatments, and now it doesn't bother him in the least. Doesn't think about the drive in the way that he used to think about the drive. Doesn't get behind the wheel thinking I'm in a death trap. Like, it just, something that simple can be so devastating to your psyche and at the same time so easily treated. If you want to learn more, visit neurojust.com, neurojust.com. We got news coming up right around 2 minutes from right now, which is enough time for me to remind you that we are still seeing numerous power outages in the 70808 zip code. We're talking about if you are in, it bleeds over to South Downs just a little bit. But if you go to Perkins Road up to the interstate, and then if you go into the Garden District, it's there as well. I'm looking at if you're like, Kleiner, Terrace, basically everywhere the Wearing Green rolled through on Saturday is without power to start off this Monday morning. Here's what happened. You had a tree fall down on power lines. Yeah, big Broussard at Broussard near St. Rose was where the tree went down. It just knocked out power to a whole bunch of people. Entergy is efforting this right now. I don't see a scheduled return time, but it is a pretty wide swath of folks who are without power to start off their Monday morning as a result of this particular outage. So we will have the latest for you as soon as we get it, or as we get updates, we will bring them to you almost immediately. In the meanwhile, we're going to stay on schedule here on Talk 107.3 FM. We got ABC News, local news, traffic, weather. After that, we're going to get involved in the education bills that are in front of the legislature with Mary Beth Derrickson next. Last night, couldn't even get an answer. I had 25,000 steps yesterday. Woo. I know. That's what you get when you walk a parade. Yeah. So this is her family's parade. Okay. So when it started back in 1971, it was her dad and her uncles and yeah. Yeah, some people marry into money. I married into parade.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning. We'll come to you in about 2 minutes, okay? Okay, no worries.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I'm connected to the internet again. Okay, good.
As soon as we're done with the recorded shit.
Oh, damn.
Oh, that is so good.
What the hell? I'm over it.
That is... Yo, we don't normally have 2 pre-recorded full segments in the show, but when you have a full pre-recorded segment, you want to have the assurance that your audio software is going to be running them. Well, we were winging it for both of those segments, running them out of just a standard media player off of a different PC. And like, it's one of those ducks on the water thing, right? It's going to sound smooth over the air, but behind the scenes, we're just a paddling away. And Breland's been a paddling away all morning long. And the moment we're done with the pre-recorded stuff, it's all systems go the way it's supposed to be.
And normally we don't hardly ever have pre-recorded.
I know.
But the one morning I got 2.
No.
2.
Normally it's Medical Monday, but look, I got the chance to talk to Cassidy, Senator Cassidy on Friday. And I'm not passing that up to talk about like where we're at with college sports. So I'll take the pre-recorded segment. Yeah, thank you. Only thing was I didn't know he was going to be in both the Wearing of the Green and the Metairie Parade. So he got booed a little bit at Wearing of the Green.
Well,
hey, thank you, Paul. Awesome work.
Thank you, Paul. Yeah, we got it.
Yeah, we're good.
Paul, you're the best. Shout out to Paul, y'all.
Uh,
So did you see his picture? He took a picture of collard greens and gumbo.
Yeah. Yeah. He said it was recommended by somebody. He tried it and he liked it. I'd go for that. Oh,
Yes, not tomatoes.
No tomatoes, but collard greens for sure.
Collard greens and a gumbo. I bet you that's bussin'. I bet you it's good. Yeah, a lot of times, if it's important enough and we can't get them in studio or on the phone, Brian will pre-record it because he's like, I gotta have it. Yeah,
Oh, yeah. I will always take content, recorded content. It's still content. I don't know. Somewhere along the way, and look, we are a live show, and we will always be predominantly a live show. But no, if I step away for 10 minutes to have a pre-recorded interview, I'm taking the content all day long. I'm waiting on some return emails. Like, I'll get national guests that are pre-recorded quite regularly. We've just been kind of in a downturn for them because I haven't had anybody I've really wanted. Trying to think of what are some good examples on that front. Yeah, well, I'm waiting to hear back from Premiere if we're getting Jeff Ross. Yeah, Roastmaster General. It's got a new Netflix special coming out. Medical Monday's almost always pre-recorded. Alice says, important interviews, it's important to have pre-recorded because of limited time with important people and scheduling. So, yeah, I mean, the content is more important than the people, and the scheduling is all the thing. It was Senator Cassidy had a window from 9 to 11 on Friday where he was just wherever he was. Yeah. .736 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. We are still at 45 degrees in downtown Baton Rouge. We're broadcasting live from the 180 Pros studio. Quick note, yes, we are still looking at that power outage in the 70808. A lot of the Garden District without power this morning. A little bit of Mid-City, I guess, is what bleeds over there as well. Here's what happened, and an oak tree fell on power lines. Broussard near St. Rose is where that happened, and we're looking at a lot of the Kleinert area, Terrace. But it walks itself down towards by the Perkins overpass. Basically everywhere the Wearing of the Green parade was is going to be down from power right now. Even down to a little bit of South Downs before it's all said and done. So we'll keep you up to speed as Entergy provides updates throughout the morning. Right now, though, we visit with our friends at the Louisiana Association of Business and Industry every morning. And this morning we're talking educational bills at the state capitol. Mary Beth Derrickson joins us. How are you?
Good morning, Brian. I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Doing very well as well. So is this session all about Gator versus not Gator, or is there a little more to cover?
There is a little more to cover. Obviously, that is what's taking up the headlines, but there are a lot of really good workforce bills and education bills on the docket starting on Wednesday. So we're excited.
Starting on Wednesday. What are we looking at?
Yes. So we have 6 lobby-supported bills up in House Education on Wednesday. And as you know, Brian, obviously Louisiana has made tremendous strides in education, specifically with literacy. And so a couple measures building on that success. Mm-hmm. But we have 6 bills on the docket on Wednesday, starting with HB 268 by Representative Kim Carver. And Brian, I'm still learning all the bill numbers, so I'm just throwing them at you. But this would promote career exposure for kids through K through 5. So right now, kids are exposed to, industry and some other business measures later on in school. But we know that it's important for those kids to be exposed early on. So the bill requires. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, you continue. Keep going.
Oh no, I was going to say the bill requires that kids have at least one career exposure lesson or experience before the 5th grade. So that's something we're really excited about and something that is mentioned specifically in our LA-driven plan. But we also have a couple measures by our friend Representative John Weibel, and I'm going to do a shameless plug. We interviewed Representative Weibel on the LABI podcast earlier last week. And he has 2 literacy measures, one being to create the Louisiana Commission on Foundational Education, which LABI is proud to be a part of that group. And then he also has a bill to expand literacy training for teachers. So just again, to reiterate, Louisiana has made tremendous strides in our literacy numbers. And so that will expand, some good work that's already happening in that area.
Why, and absolutely no surprise coming from Representative Weibel, because literacy was his background specifically. I mean, education's his background, but literacy specifically with Louisiana Reads before he was even elected to the state house. This was what he was doing beforehand. So yeah, this is his wheelhouse, and this is what he's passionate about.
Absolutely. And, he currently serves, for your audience that might not know Brian, he currently serves as the CEO for the Center for Literacy and Learning, and they're doing tremendous work to expand access to reading materials, getting students the help they need in literacy. So he is championing this work, and we got to hear a lot about what they're doing at the center earlier last week on our podcast. So he is an absolute champion for this work.
Yeah, big time. And Kim Carver's no slouch on that front either. In fact, does not surprise me in the least to see Carver with this bill talking about career-related activities for K through 5. What does that look like in real life, though, Mary Beth? Because it's, how deep of a dive are we taking for K through 5? Because I could tell you, I've done a career day where I thought I was going to talk to 8th graders and I was talking to 3rd graders instead. It's hard to explain to a 3rd grader what a news talk host does for a living.
Oh, absolutely. Well, Brian, I don't believe that. I bet they had a great experience with you telling all the ins and outs about radio. And,
well, oh no,
100%.
Yeah, no, they're totally riveted. I sit in a small room and I talk until the woman on the other side of the glass tells me to stop. Like that's.
Exactly. I'm sure they were like, okay, that is absolutely what I want to do.
That's totally it.
Right. No, so this is a little more high level, Brian. Obviously, if we're talking about 5th graders being exposed to the energy industry, we're not going to get into the deep on carbon capture and all that kind of good stuff. But we know that studies show it's the earlier we can get kids exposed to what jobs actually exist in Louisiana, the better off they're going to be later on. I know when I was that age, it was like, oh, I want to be an astronaut, or I want to be a doctor or a lawyer, and that's pretty much where it ends. And so Louisiana is such a unique state when it comes to jobs and opportunity. And so we really just want to get kids exposed as early as possible. And a shout out to Representative Kim Carver. He has been a champion on this issue and has run multiple LA driven bills throughout his career.
We got Mary Beth Derrickson from the Louisiana Association of Business and Industry talking about education bills that are in front of the state legislature. As we look towards the next ones, I'm just guessing here. We're going to hear Barbara Freiberg's name soon because she always gets a good one in.
Oh, absolutely. I actually saw her on Saturday night, and she has a loaded docket this year with lots of great stuff. And she's running 3 education/workforce bills that are LABI supported to deal with reentry, which we've talked a lot about on your show, Brian.
Yep.
But she has 3 bills in that vein, so we might have to have her come on and explain all of her wonderful bills. She also has a STEM bill that she's working on, as well as some other things. So she's a LABI champion. She's actually an MVP for us, which means she votes 100% of the time with the business community. So those are some good bills coming up. But I also want to mention 2 Ken Brass bills that are coming up on Wednesday as well. One to create a uniform dual enrollment statewide application process, which is just really going to remove some red tape and make it easier for parents to decide, different dual enrollment programs that are open to their kids. And he also has a bill that we're extremely excited about, which is HB 807, which establishes the Workforce Instructor Capacity Investment Program. The goal being to get good quality instructors into the LCTCS system. Obviously, we have multiple mega projects coming, and especially in his district in Ascension, CF Industries and others, Hyundai. So we want to make sure those folks are in the LCTCS system in our community colleges, training up our folks to immediately go into those positions. So 2 of Ken Brass bills that we're excited about on Wednesday as well.
All right, so let's talk about the dual enrollment one here for just a quick second, because I'm curious about that. Let's start with this. For those that don't know what dual enrollment is, give us the quick, the quick background on it.
Sure. So dual enrollment is classes that you can take where you get college credit. So you could go into college with 18 hours of college credit already on your transcript, which is very nice. I came into college almost with a whole semester of credit, so you're already ahead of the game. What's happening now is there's so many different dual enrollment classes offered in different regions of the state that aren't necessarily lined up with workforce priorities. So we want to make sure that parents have access to, okay, what is being offered across the state? What could my child get into that could lead to a job or to get them ahead of the game when they start college? So right now, obviously, it's kind of like a couple years ago when there was a workforce bill to get everybody on the same page. This is the dual enrollment version of that. So we want to make sure everyone has all the information they need, streamline information for parents, and make sure that everybody knows what's going on in the dual enrollment space, and how they can get their kid the classes that they need. So it's just a common sense measure to remove red tape and get kids where they need to be.
Oh, okay. So I'm glad you walked down that path, because I've always associated dual enrollment with classes that would have been core to their general credits, degrees and whatnot, but like not necessarily what their major would be, like dual enrollment for English or math or a science or whatever, not necessarily walking you down a path towards a particular, job.
Right. That's kind of how we're thinking of it, Brian. And we like to talk about the cradle to career pipeline and make sure that kids are getting all the, classes that they can lead to a high wage in demand job in Louisiana. And specifically, I think you're seeing a lot of the bills this session in reaction to the economic investment that's coming to the state. So Meta, all kinds of projects happening, CF Industries, like I mentioned earlier, and you're starting to see the K through 12 system react to that, because we want to make sure that, yes, it's great to have all this investment, but if we don't have the workforce to support it, then where does that leave us? So really making sure that kids have access to all kinds of classes that could lead them to a different major. Maybe it's in STEM and they thought they were going to be a lawyer or whatever it is. Like, it all goes back to career exposure, but also making sure that they could, making sure they know what's available to them specifically in their region of the state, so we keep our kids here is the goal.
We got Mary Beth Derrickson with us from the Louisiana Association of Business and Industry. I want to flip this around, and a simple no might be the answer here, but are there any educational bills that LABI is not supporting or opposing?
There are a couple. We've seen an effort, and this isn't a surprise, Brian, this happens every year. We've seen an effort to whittle down the current accountability formula, which LABI strongly supported, and we will oppose any effort to weaken that or remove some of the provisions that are in that accountability formula. Bessie and the department worked really hard to create a rigorous accountability formula, and we're actually one of the third. I think we're ranked the third strongest accountability formula in the state. So there are a couple bills that we're watching in that regard, because we don't want to roll back any of the reforms and the progress that we've made. But obviously, things kind of go through the process. They get amended, they get changed. So we're hoping that we don't have to come out and, oppose a lot of stuff, but that's sometimes how it goes. And we're prepared to kill any bill that would weaken the accountability formula.
We got about 2 minutes left. I want to pivot back to Gator, since that is going to suck most of the oxygen out of the room when it comes to educational bills. Is it too early to know where we're at on this fight? Because the governor wants more. Senate President Henry says we might not have more. Almost definitely don't have more. Like, do we know where we're at on this battle to get Gator expanded, if not just maintained?
Right. I think that obviously you're hearing a lot of different perspectives on Gator. LABI has long supported education choice, and we will continue to be vocal about our support for ESAs and support a fully funded Gator program. I think a lot of it remains to be seen. The governor has said he is extremely supportive in fully funding Gator, doubling the funding in his executive budget, in fact. But obviously, we've met with President Henry. So I think a lot of it remains to be seen. And it's unfortunate because I believe we had almost 40,000 applications for the Gator program earlier this year, and it was not fully funded, which was very disappointing. So we'll have to see how it all unfolds. We're hoping that, maybe, I don't know. I don't want to speak too soon, Brian.
No, that's why I said you saying it's too soon is a perfectly admissible answer. So she is Mary Beth Derrickson with the Louisiana Association of Business and Industry. Now, you do have to come back on in a couple weeks for follow-up as these bills make their way through the process.
Absolutely. And Brian, real quick, I just want to say congratulations to LABI endorsed candidate, now Representative Paul Sawyer of District 69. We're very excited to have him in the legislature.
53% of the vote without the need of a runoff. So yes, big shout out to Paul Sawyer as he's making his way into into the legislature on Saturday. Mary Beth, always appreciate the time. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, Brian. Have a good day.
You too. We're coming up on 750 at Talk 107.3 FM. I'm 80% sure Your Money Now's going to be there. We have some pretty remarkable work done within the last hour or so to get us back up and running. So here we go. Your Money Now. Hey. That makes all of them.
What?
I just got a text saying it was like that up in Slaughter.
No shit.
What's that sound? Tornadoes next, hurricane, and pestilence, and
Frogs. We don't miss the frogs.
Damn, Brian.
I'm here for the frogs, man. But they got little frogs. You can't even cook their legs.
I hope my rat's doing all right. I saw a street rat this morning coming to work.
He's going to work too, you know. You know,
That's up in his mouth.
well, you know, he get to work, crawl up under a chef's hat.
So believe it or not, I literally have 2 days for this day in history. Nothing else.
Perfect. Perfect. No, when it's a shortened segment, you only want a few things.
We visit with our friends.
James Madison.
It's raining men. Hallelujah. It's raining men.
Our president, Donald Trump, he's fighting for America. Fighting for global manufacturing. Fighting to restore America's energy dominance. But billionaire environmental radicals are pushing back. George Soros, Rockefeller, they poured $70 billion right here into Louisiana. Their mission, kill oil and gas. Their scheme, flood your social media. Stand up, big front groups, attack local.
Alan, do you normally deliver from you heard me singing, Alan? Saying it's raining men. Our engineer just came and told us it was hailing. So I forget who in the comments said it was hailing.
Hey!
Anyways, what I was gonna ask you was, you normally deliver Monday through Friday, Alan? How many steps do you get, Alan, normally? I would say, what, you walk 10 miles a day?
That's awesome.
Dang,
I want
Alan.
that job.
So no lie, my mail lady's retired now, but she says she probably does 15 to 20 miles a day, and she is skinny as a rail. She said you eventually get used to it, because I was like, you got to be tired all the time, and she said no. Try walking through feet of snow, not so fun, he said. She told me the hardest thing was if she took like a week off for a vacation or something, it's that next day coming back to work. She said her feet were always killing her, but you eventually you get used to it.
Beep, 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 ba, ba, boo, ba, 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 beep, beep, boop. 7:55 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. We got about 5 minutes until we hit the top of the hour. Normally we do this day in history at the beginning of the 8 o'clock hour, but we've got a guest coming up at 8:05. State Representative Jessica Domingue going to talk carbon sequestration. So let's do it right now. This day in history. Let's go.
Well, believe it or not, Brian, and I wanted to have topics that were worth and notable and fun. I got two.
That's fine.
Two for this day. All right.
I got two as well.
1926, our first liquid-fueled rocket launch. Here's the thing. It was a major step toward modern space travel. Here's the deal. The rocket only flew 41 feet high, traveled about 184 feet before landing in a cabbage field. So,
Okay.
not so much. I mean,
Love
he
that.
tried.
No, he tried.
He tried.
More than the last guy got.
And we're fast forward into 2020. Global markets plunged with the Dow Jones recording a record point drop as fears about the COVID-19 pandemic spread worldwide. I remember that. Everybody thought the world was ending.
Yeah.
I remember that. We went out and we bought Bang Bang because I told my husband, I'm like, I don't know what's going to happen. So we went to Bass Pro and we got something because I was afraid, you know.
What'd you get at Bass Pro?
You know, Bang Bang.
What's
Pow.
Oh. You can say gun on the radio.
I know I can.
This isn't TikTok. This isn't.
They're not going to shadow ban me.
Mark Zuckerberg doesn't own us.
They're not going to show. Okay, well,
I got a pew pew.
We went out and we bought a gun. I was afraid. I'm like, I'm thinking like Hurricane Katrina all over again, Brian.
Yep.
All right, what you got?
All right, this day in 1850, the Scarlet Letter was published.
I had that, but I didn't know if it was notable.
Well, because I mean, do we say published still? I mean, like, were people walking around in 1850 going, "Hey, the new Hawthorne dropped,"
right?
Did you get the new Hawthorne dropped today? This day in 1945, U.S. Marines took Iwo Jima.
Okay.
And this day in 1995, hear me now, 1995, okay. I was graduating high school that year. Mississippi ratified the 13th Amendment, thereby making slavery illegal.
Huh?
In 1995, Mississippi said, "Hey, did you ever turn in that paper?"
So wait, somebody had a slave in 94?
No. Nobody had slaves since the 1800s.
But nobody turned in the paperwork.
But like did we sign that? Hey, did anybody get that done? And they ratified the 13th Amendment.
Holy smokes. So in 94, somebody could have had a slave.
Could have.
They didn't.
I mean, it was against federal law, but
that's
over there in
horrible.
Mississippi, Magnolia State.
Way to go, Mississippi, for dropping a ball, right?
Well, I mean, what would be worse? Like just never doing it?
I know.
It's like,
golly.
Yeah.
All right. Notable birthdays today. James Madison, our fourth U.S. president.
Mm-hmm.
Jerry Lewis, legendary comedian, actor for slapstick comedy. Not Jerry Lee Lewis, just Jerry Lee. He was known in the comedian world. Yep. Eric Estrada, known for the hit TV show Chips.
Punch?
Yeah. Flava Flav, 1959.
Bro, Flava Flav is 67.
I can't believe that.
That clock's ticking a little faster.
Notable. Oh, you got any birthdays?
Joseph Mengele was born on this day in 1911. And Gilmore Girls was born on this day.
Oh.
Gilmore Girls. Lauren Graham's 59.
Okay. The only notable death.
I didn't have any.
I mean, I got Frank Sinatra Jr. I mean, I had the son of the legendary entertainer. Yep. I mean, I have to.
Yep.
Let's see. National Day today. National Panda Day.
Panda?
Panda.
We'll take it. I love a good panda.
Like,
you ever get it on Panda TikTok?
Oh, I love it. And they go rolling down the hill.
They're so stupid. Oh, I love them.
One of them tried to eat something and he missed his mouth. So he's like just putting it on his cheek.
They'll surprise each other all the time. They're so dumb. God,
but they're so cute.
I know. All right, we got to hit news, traffic, and weather. Hour 3 is coming up in just a little bit. Got to remind you about the folks over at 5 Star Printing and Signs. Printshop5.com is the website. 225-271-4096 is the phone number if you want to get a hold of Danny and his team. I could tell, I don't know why I'm saying it now. The winning candidate on Saturday, in the 69th. That's a customer over there at printshop5.com. 5-Star Printing and Signs. It is an election year all year long. Make sure you're taken care of at 5-Star Printing and Signs. Be a winner. Losing candidates didn't go to 5-Star. The winner did. How about it?
That's right, Alan.
By the
I didn't want
way,
to get demonetized.
I caught so much shit for my Facebook post on Saturday. Well, I'm not allowed to. Well, I didn't get any comments that were negative, but like I had a couple people. I had 2 emails. I should say I got so much shit. I had 2 emails that were like, "You're not supposed to endorse a candidate." I'm like, I didn't. All you said was that one clearly. No, I didn't even say that. I didn't say that. Here's what I said, word for word. What I said on Saturday was, here we go. Oh, hell, I got to scroll through some pictures now to get to it. Okay, dear District 69, today is election day. Sincerely, Brian. P.S. Vote before you hit the parade. P.S. There are 4 candidates. P.S. You can only pick one. P.S. I'm not here to tell you which one, but P.S. Was that an endorsement? Really? It wasn't. Because P.S. totally stands for postscript and not false swear. See what you did there? See? Super clever. Good morning. Sorry to speak back to you already. Not at all.
I'm just going to leave my purse and stuff back here.
Sure.
So I can take my coffee.
Yeah, of course.
And I've got like a little bit of notes. I don't want it to be like, oh, she's going to get off my notes, blah, blah, blah. But there's a.
Well, it's a great thing with radios.
Well, yeah. The Facebook Live folks are privy to it. So, are we doing nothing but carbon capture, or do you want to dive into some other stuff that you got working?
I would just do the carbon capture because I can do 15 minutes on that.
Okay.
And, you know, the way we kind of did it with LABI is we did kind of a little intro of why I even got into it, because why would a social worker even care about carbon sequestration, right?
Okay. Which, by the way, sorry, we're always on Facebook Live. So, yeah.
Gotcha.
Unless you need us to kill mics.
No.
Okay.
So I think we should kind of go there and then, figure it out after that.
Okay.
Yeah. This is Bloomberg Money Minute. And I apologize. I had the flu like the week before session, and I am still hoarse. I'm still coughing. It's just, it knocked me down.
Sounds like it.
Like, I lost my voice last week. So
wait, which one of your bills is? Do you have a bill on?
No, sir. I wrote the op-ed.
Okay, yeah, I know about the op-ed. I read the op-ed. It was awesome.
No. I have no bills. I'm running some shrimp bills.
Yeah, you are clearly Billy Nungesser and Mike Strain's favorite this session.
Oh well.
I mean,
I also represent the entire coast of Terrebonne Parish.
Correct.
Yeah. Let's remember where I live.
I've just got to hammer out a live read before we get started. And interestingly enough, right after you, the next segment is Moon. So.
Yay.
We're going to push him back by a little bit because I think we're going to run long. I'm going to tell you right now, we're going to run long.
I've honestly never even met Moon.
He's a good guy.
Yeah.
He is.
I'm sure his heart is in the right place.
Physically.
I think all of our hearts are in the right place.
We'd be really deformed if we weren't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jesus. Oh, the comments. Oh, when I Googled to go back and find the when I Googled to go find the op-ed, a post that says Representative Jessica Domingue is neck deep in the stealing of our land. Wow.
Neck deep.
806 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Hour 3 coming your way right now. Brian here with you, Breland producing. We are now down to 44 degrees in downtown Baton Rouge as we're broadcasting live from the 180 Pros studio, which, by the way, we are. So, got a message earlier in the show that they were getting Sonic Ice hail up in Slaughter, and turns out we're getting that right here. Downtown Baton Rouge getting hit with a little bit of hail to start off the morning, and it has dipped us down to 44 degrees. Look, y'all, we're under a freeze watch for tonight, so going to be like this all day long. Before we dive back into our content, I want to remind you about Guarantee Health Solutions. Guarantee Health Solutions. If you work in or run a medical practice, whether you're talking about an urgent care or a specialty practice or just your general practitioner's office, Guarantee Health Solutions is here for you to make sure that everything is aligned. Whether you're talking about your marketing, whether you're talking about the way you run your office, whether you talk about that doctor-to-patient relationship or any member of the staff to patient relationship, with Guarantee Health, we're bridging the gap between healthcare and hospitality. If you want to learn more, visit guaranteehealth.com, guaranteehealth.com, of course, spelled guarantee with a Y. All right, diving into the legislative session as week 2 is underway as of today. One of the hotter topics throughout the session is going to be carbon capture. Joining us now is State Representative Jessica Domingue, who put up a great op-ed over at the Hayride. Representative Domingue, welcome back to Talk 107.3.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. This is actually my first time being in studio.
We've had you on phone a number of times, but
yes, sir. Yes, sir. So it's great to meet you and to meet your listeners. And I know a lot of people in this area don't necessarily know me because I represent Terrebonne Parish. But
yeah, and that's one of the missions during the legislative session is to make sure that the entire state makes its way through here, because everything y'all are doing over there at the Capitol is interconnected. So yeah, sure, you're in Terrebonne, but what you vote on affects, or what you propose affects us here in Baton Rouge as well. And that's why I wanted to dive into this op-ed over at the Hayride. I'm going to just read the headline and then let you take it from there. The headline is Domingue, another side of the carbon capture story. What is your side of the carbon capture story?
All right. So my side of the carbon capture story is a bit different than other people's. I'm a licensed clinical social worker. I'm from Terrebonne Parish. First time being in the legislature. I wasn't initially on natural resources, but I had some shrimping bills that I was running. I'm running some shrimping bills this year. Mm-hmm. And of course, the chairman came to me and said, well, why aren't you on natural resources? Because you've got this huge shrimping industry in your area. And I said, I really would like to be. And it ended up working out that they were able to move me on. So I missed the first year of natural resources with the first year of debate on carbon sequestration. Mm. So when I came in year 2, they were already abreast to what it was and what was happening. And so when I came in, I had never heard of carbon sequestration before. Mm. So there was a bunch of bills, and just to back up a little bit, I was chairwoman of our council, and I was on our council for 4 years before I came here. So I have a good deal of knowledge on municipal code and municipal law.
Mhm.
And so the bills that were coming through House Commerce, a lot of my questions related to how they don't align with what municipal law is.
Mhm.
And so there was a lot of questions about a lot of bills because they just didn't, there's a lot of good ideas in the legislature. There's a lot of ideas, but when we put those ideas into practice, they don't really align with the law. And so that's what I was really kind of looking at is these bills aren't making sense. And so I was voting no on all of them.
Okay.
And then once we started voting no because they weren't good bills, I started receiving death threats. And so I had to have Capitol security for a week. It was very, very intense. And I thought there is something to this carbon sequestration. And I have to learn everything about this that I possibly can. Because you don't have people wanting to kill you over a topic that's supposed to help and build Louisiana.
Right.
So that's where I really got interested in this subject. And in the last year, I've really just done a lot of research. I've visited lots of areas, lots of plants, and really, really got a good handle on the subject matter. And then you guys all know, you just saw it on Facebook as well. There is so much noise about this topic, and people are screaming and people are yelling. And I felt as though going into this session, we cut through the noise and we go directly to the facts of why we're doing carbon sequestration. That's where the op-ed came from.
Right.
And then, of course, it blew up last week. It kind of went viral. And so essentially that's where we land right now is how are we going to deal with a lot of these situations going in?
Now, we're going to get into the op-ed just a second because it takes a very specific route, talking about one angle, one aspect of the overall argument. But I want to walk through a few other angles, starting with this. When you decided to dive headfirst into this as a topic, because as a legislator, it's going to come across your desk, where did you start? Who did you listen to?
So I started by listening to the scientists, and I started by listening to the professionals, and I started by listening to the industry folks. I once again, I represent Terrebonne Parish. We have a huge oil and gas community in our area. Port Fourchon is right in our backyard. So I've got a lot of resources to be able to really kind of talk with people. And of course, seeing the people on social media, reading their concerns and seeing their concerns. This isn't a Terrebonne Parish issue, right? This is a state of Louisiana issue.
Correct.
So it's not something that my constituents are coming to me and saying, we're really concerned about this, because they're like, let's do it. We want, let's drill, baby, drill. But I, just kind of listening, and I took the really kind of a holistic approach of looking at the concerns and also looking at the facts and the science.
Okay, so starting with that, what made you more reassured once you started learning more about the science? What led you towards saying, okay, this is where the science is leading me, so I'm a little bit more in favor?
So it's the science, but it's the safety, and but it's also to dissect what's being said with fact. And so I can give you one example of kind of what that is. So it would be specifically to, they're stealing our land and they're taking our land.
Let's start with that one.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
All
a good place to
right.
start, because I think eminent domain has been a big topic and a very misleading topic on this front. So start with that. Where would eminent domain even come into play here?
Yeah. So I actually have picked up a really cute nickname, Jessica Eminent Domain, because
how did I not get that? Oh, shame on me. All right, go ahead.
So you have to own it, right? So anyway, so if you remember last year, at the end of the legislative session, it was really kind of wild, and we had SB 244, which was the reorganization of the Department of Natural Resources, and it was this whole thing, and it was the last couple days of session, and it ended up coming to the floor with a 150-page amendment. that we had to read in about 5 minutes.
Wow.
And in that was the eminent domain language, which was from Guyman's HB 800s. There was some legacy stuff in there. There was so much in there. And look, I can't vote on a legacy law without reading it, without digesting it.
Right.
So I voted against that bill. And it was just the way it was handled was not what the legislative process should do. But in SB 244, the good thing that did come out of it, and this is law, your listeners can look this up. We have the strictest eminent domain laws in the entire country. Okay. Yes. So we, with that, we got a minimum of 85% of pore space unitization, meaning that 85% of the landowners have to sign on for this project to come online. There's also some things in there about groundwater monitoring and different things. So the noise that you're hearing, they're stealing our land. It's not the case, right? It's not the case because the laws are the strictest in the country. And so why should the state of Louisiana have stricter laws than Texas and all these other areas that are rocking and rolling right now with carbon sequestration? I mean, they got primacy after us, and they have much more projects than what we do. And so just kind of taking a look at that. And while we're on the eminent domain part, I think it's really important to note too. I contacted my clerk's office. And so every legislator, I would encourage them to call their clerk. And so I called my clerk's office and I said, can you please give me the numbers of how many times eminent domain was used in Terrebonne Parish for industry or pipelines or anything like that, and over the last 50 years. And so she called me back a few hours later and she said, and this is fact, she said the last 50 years, eminent domain was used in Terrebonne Parish 5 times.
Okay. I mean, it's not 0, but what are the 5 about?
So the 5, a lot of it is about succession issues. Like you'll have a bunch of heirs for this one piece of property, and you can't reach all these heirs, right?
Okay.
And so that's one instance where it would be used. And the other instance that eminent domain historically is being used is for DOTD projects.
Which is not industry. That's the government. That's a huge difference. There's a big difference between DOTD and ExxonMobil. I mean, there's a big difference between DOTD and Air Products. These are not the same.
Right. And if we've got, let's say there's a pipeline that's going through, 100 plots of land, and you've got a succession to where, you can't find all the heirs. I mean, that might be a situation where they have to come in and do eminent domain. But however, they're also being compensated for that. It's not that they're just eminent domain doesn't mean that they just come in and steal your land. It means that you're compensated for your pore space, which is the space underneath your land.
Right.
So yeah, nobody has, they don't stop having access to their land. They still own their land. It's
right.
Just the
when you're talking
space.
about a secession, that didn't start with eminent domain. It started with right of way, which is totally different.
Well, we could, get into that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't forced. It wasn't taken. It was sold, or it was leased, or, there wasn't a forced
there was a contract.
Correct.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
We've got about 3 minutes left with State Representative Jessica Domingue for this particular aspect of it. Walk us back through in these last 3 minutes the op-ed itself, because you really turn the conversation on its ear when you talk about it's not what you and I believe when it comes to climate change or how to affect the world. It's literally everyone else.
Okay. Yes. So if we look at President Trump and President Trump's energy policy and his policy for the United States, he wants an America First policy, right?
Yes.
He also wants to stop allowing Russia and China to be any sort of global partners, right? And so the European Union wants to buy an LNG product that is carbon neutral. And so they have this big incentive that we want to go net zero by 2030 or whatever. This is the European Union. And so for the United States to be a partner with Europe, we have to produce a product that is carbon neutral.
Right.
Or they're going to buy their product from China or Russia.
Right.
And so if you look at Trump's initiative and why Trump has this in the big, beautiful bill, is because he wants the LNG to be produced in the United States, essentially in Louisiana.
Well, that would be where it would be America first. It's American jobs running this thing.
Right, exactly.
About a minute and a half left with State Representative Jessica Domingue talking about the carbon capture argument. Where do you see this going in this session? I mean, do you see and we're going to bring you back on probably more than once to talk about this in the future, but do you see this debate stalling out? Do you see this debate really heating up? Or do you see this debate derailing everything else that might be on the table for the session?
I think that if we stick to the facts and we stick to the science and stay off of Facebook, we can do some really great things.
Mm-hmm.
I can't tell you where things are going to go, but obviously I'm hoping that it's really good because we have $100 billion worth of investment in the state of Louisiana, 40 billion of which is directly tied to carbon neutral products.
Right.
So not only are you talking about LNG, but you're talking about the timber industry, and you're talking about the paper industry, and you're talking about the ammonia industry, and you're talking about the cattle feed industry, and you're talking about so many different industries in the state of Louisiana that are going to have to be required to produce and look, they can choose not to produce it, but they're not going to have a customer, right? I mean, so I want to go back and, they're going to say, well, she said this required. No, it's not required. It's the fact that we're the producer. They are the consumer. They want this product that is carbon neutral. And that's where I brought in the kale analogy.
Within the op-ed, one of the things you mentioned is if you let's say you run a grocery store and you don't offer any kind of organic products, but your customers want organic products. Obviously, if you want to serve your customer, you're going to offer something that the customer wants, something that there's a market for.
Right. And so, yes, exactly. So we are the producers of that product. And in the analogy, the grocer is the ones that are selling the kale, but their customer wants organic kale. And the customer says, well, I don't believe in organic kale, so I'm not selling it, right? It's just a very simplified analogy. Moon Griffon had a lot to say about me in the first couple of days.
He'll be up in about 3 minutes.
Yeah, he had a lot to say about me in the first couple of days. But what he said specifically, and I just want to clarify this, is he said, so Jessica Domingue is saying that the grocer is going to receive 45Q tax credits for this kale. It's actually not the grocer.
Right.
It is the farmer that's receiving some sort of tax incentive. And haven't our farmers been begging for federal help to grow their products?
100%.
And so the analogy got twisted. And so I just want to clarify for your listeners, and I have high respect for Moon, that it's not the grocer who's receiving the tax credits. It is the producer, right? And so we just really, really want to clarify that that's kind of where that came from.
That's where we're going to have to push pause for now. I'm already looking forward to the next conversation. State Representative Jessica Domingue, thank you so much. Quick break. Moon Griffon's next. Wow. With his best stop spot right on the back end of it. Well done.
Thank you.
Well done. I just scratched the surface. So looking for more.
I had so much more to say.
I know. It's a minimum of an hour-long topic that I'm trying to squeeze into 10 minutes. So that's not fair to you, but we got to get the ball rolling.
All right.
I mean, for example, right within that segment, a guy named Joe says, so sick of the lies that y'all advertise about carbon capture, and President Trump backs it as lies. The whole thing is bullshit, and we, the taxpayers, have to pay for the bullshit. So the rich get richer, and the taxpayers get effed. As usual, wake up, America, stop this bullshit. He's not working out of any kind of fact. He's working out of 1,000% emotion and hyperbole. There's nothing to gain from that.
Well, and then the other part of it is, I can't say it, but We went to the White House and I asked the energy secretary, what is President Trump's stance on 45Q? And what they told me at the White House was if President Trump didn't believe this, it wouldn't be in the big beautiful bill.
Right.
It's just.
Well, it said Moon comes back with someone.
Yeah.
Who was it Bergam? Doug Bergam said it's called it a scam.
So
He actually didn't. Yeah.
So within that, they said we're just running around doing nothing with it. It's a scam. But we are doing something that we're creating value for those products that people are wanting.
Right.
And that's where he stopped short
know.
of it. Because right before it, he was talking about how, you use the carbon for agricultural purposes or for all these things. Like that creates value. So it's the natural extension is we are creating value.
Yes.
But,
Okay.
that was the
good.
next
Okay.
part of that conversation.
Great job.
Thank you.
And yeah, Todd, as many as you want to send over here, I'm here to preach the word as well.
That was good. I'm glad you guys got it set.
Thanks.
Jobs right here in Louisiana. When you see a tax on carbon capture, remember, millions are spent to mislead you. These radicals don't care about you. In Louisiana, we stand with Trump. We stand with oil and gas. We stand with carbon capture. Get the facts. Visit magaenergy.la. People at Mega Energy Project. Business leaders understand one thing. If you want results, you must retain top talent. Same is true for
All right, Kevin. Yes, that is in the works. That is my effort for the next 2 weeks or so, is to have a minimum of 5, well, probably 3, over the course of 2 weeks, but to really get into the science of what it does. But when I have legislators available, I'll take. Alan says, I could tell, Brian, you wanted to ask her moon-style questions, but couldn't. I don't understand what that means. I think Moon and I asked pretty similar questions.
I just like the fact that she's from Terrebonne Parish. I'm like, oh.
Hey, we're blowing past ABC. There's no way I'm getting them in 4 minutes. Now bring it on in. Let's go. No time for bumper music. We're rocking and rolling. Mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along right now. Time to take you to Moon Griffon himself. He's on with us. How are you, brother?
Brian, I'm doing great. It's a shame not enough time to talk about LSU baseball, but
that might be a good thing. That might be a good thing that we're not talking about LSU baseball. All right, week 2 of the legislative session kicking off today. What you got your ear to the ground? What are you hearing?
Well, I was called. They got an eminent domain bill. They got a lot of anti-carbon caps, and I know me and you differ on it, but
yeah. And for full disclosure, Moon, I just had Jessica Domain on in the last segment.
Okay, no, that's fine. One of the things that's amazing was they got an eminent domain bill. Brett Guyman and them are trying to push, and it's going to be a close vote to get it out of committee.
Mm-hmm.
It was a close vote last year, but this is it's going to be a real close vote. The other thing is the insurance bills. I'm concerned, between you and me, just my opinion, I'm concerned there's not enough focus on insurance. Again, I know that businesses and trucking companies are really up in arms, Brian, because they don't feel like they're doing anything about one of the things that we need help with, which is insurance for these companies, that trucking companies. So those are 2 things. And the last thing, real quick, a lot of people act like they're confused about closed primaries. Brian, but when you put, excuse my French, half-ass bills up, that's what you get. You're going to do closed primaries, you do closed primaries. If you're not, don't do them. And so people are going to be confused by it. So those are just a few of the things I'm looking at.
Wait, where's the confusion on the closed primary? Is it because
the closed primary confusion is this? It's for certain elections. It's not for everybody. You see what I'm saying? Like, I'll give you an example. Public Service Commissioner, they already, or was it Bessie board, already going back as a bill out to get rid of closed primaries for one of those now. So it's confusion because we're throwing other bills out there before we had a fine chance to
Yeah. No, I'm with you. And Bessie was questionable on that one because it's not a federal election. It's not an election for a federal office. If they wanted to draw a dividing line between if you're running for a federal office, we'll do closed primary. Anything within the state would not be. Bessie would create confusion on that front to be sure, where it's not it's not all one or all the other. So yeah, looking for clarification on that one.
Yeah, and that's the part that I meant, that people could be confused about it, because if you walk in and you got a Bessie board or Supreme Court justice, and then you got federal election, but you got something else locally, you see what I'm saying? So go for it or get out the way. That's what I believe.
100%. I apologize. We ran you long right there. I got 2 minutes left. Let's talk about what's on your show today.
Well, we got that. I do have former Senator Conrad Appel going to join us about budgets and why we're having problems and why problems will exist. Also, McKay's going to join us. And Scott had a great article. I know Mike and them trained them. Well, I know Mike real well. Everybody's complaining about having enough workers with the visa program to peel crawfish.
Yeah.
And Scott's got a different take on it than most people as usual. But it's a pretty good take and a pretty good question on it, because really our crawfish balls and all that are not going to be affected. It's about peeling crawfish. It's about processing crawfish. So you got to put that in perspective. You can't just say, "Oh, well, these workers don't come in, we can't get crawfish," because you pay them enough, people will work.
No, absolutely. But if you have to pay them more, if enough is a higher number, then that's going to raise the price a little bit, to be sure. My whole thing, and I had Dr. Schrain on Thursday, Moon, was, you know what? Let's round up a group of dudes and we'll just sit down at a picnic table on a Saturday, throw back a couple of beers, and we'll just peel all day if you don't mind me eating one out of every 5. I mean,
that's the problem with me sitting down and peeling. If I'm going to work that hard,
no, but if you got a couple of, a bead of strawberries on ice, we'll just shoot the breeze and let the day pass. That's what we do.
Hey, they better not pay us on the number we peel, because if they do, they're going to be short of you. How about that?
So one more minute with you, Moon, before we sign off. And within that, this week, as things get started, I mean, really, this is the week where everything starts to, heat up. And if you see battle lines being drawn, it's going to start right about now. I'm hard pressed to believe that those dividing lines are going to start anywhere but carbon capture.
I just think it's going to end up being a bigger issue. But if with an 85-day session, and I look for a lot of those carbon capture bills to be beat at the committee level. I just do.
Yeah.
But if you start now with that, if you get through that, maybe we'll get into other stuff after they get through that. I think they're going to hear them all at one time and be done with it. That's just my opinion. The Senate, I don't think some of these bills will ever see the Senate.
Probably not. I'm curious about Brett Guyman's bill. I want to read it. I haven't read it yet because in talking with Jessica Domingue last segment, we don't see eminent domain used for anything but governmental purposes. So it's not used for industry. It's used for DOTD, or it's used for the military.
Well, you know how it goes. It's in the detail of it. I hadn't seen the whole bill. I saw bits and pieces of it.
Yeah.
But I think what it's doing, part of it is to give locals the opportunity to be able to vote on it, and that's what some of these people are fighting. They think the locals voting would be bad for them. Well, I think that's where that bill's going to settle on.
Yeah, I worry about a bill that is going to protect us from something that's never happened.
Well, like I tell you, my deal with carbon capture never had to do with the property rights. I get it.
Yeah.
Mine had to do with the federal government on to be doing. Me and you've had this discussion.
Yeah, we have.
They are doing it though, and there is money out there, so I get it. I just think in the end, big money will probably win. That's just my opinion.
All right, you got a show to get to coming up at 9 to noon right here on Talk 107.3 FM. Always appreciate the time, brother. We'll see you soon.
All right, Brian. Thanks, bud.
Later on. Here comes local news, traffic, weather. The BREC Room's next. I done broke my phone. Ready? Sorry, it's been a heck of a busy morning. So come on in. I understand it's failing. Oh my word.
Hi. Nathan.
Brian.
Nice to meet you,
Hey,
Brittany.
Brian.
Good morning. How are you?
I don't have any lipstick on. I need to put my lipstick on.
What happened? Oh, I didn't even tell until you pointed it out. You should just.
We're rocking and rolling. With Brian Haldane rolling right along. We're rocking and rolling, brother. Time to take you, time to take you, over on himself.
What's going on this morning? There's a lot of activity outside. They kicked me out of parking.
She's out of the parking lot.
Mm-hmm. Made me go park over there.
I don't know. Where were you? Were you in a reserve spot?
There's only reserved spots.
Yeah, we need more guest spots. We do.
I know. I don't even have a spot. And
She's supposed to park behind the building.
I know. I'm supposed to park. Yeah. Like, with it being so early.
Back here?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
No, y'all.
How do you get in if you park behind the building?
There's a back door.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's a back door.
And if you're facing the building, you're going to park on the left or the right.
If you're looking at the building, y'all can park right here. Yeah, on the right.
Did the radio show stuff come from Katrina this time?
She gave additional comments on it.
Oh, am I on the wrong page here from Robin? Oh, I think that's for Breland, not for me. I clicked on the wrong damn thing. I clicked on the wrong thing. We started the show for the first hour and a half with no internet, no satellites.
Oh my.
Yeah, it was a thing.
See, this is what I have. I don't have the same thing as you. So can you send that to me?
Keeping it moving here at Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Holding at 44 degrees in downtown Baton Rouge as it looks like we're getting hail, sleet, all of it throughout the capital area. And it has been quite the challenge this morning, to be sure. But it is time for the BREC Room, time to talk about what's going on in the parks throughout our parish. Want to welcome back, as we always do, Janet Simmons and Maurice Velasquez. Welcome aboard. How's it going?
Good morning.
First of all, appreciate y'all braving the elements. I wasn't ready for this.
I know.
Me neither.
I was ready for the cold, and it was going to be cold, but I did not know hail.
Not just cold.
Right.
We got a comment in the chat about an hour ago. It's like, we got sonic ice coming down in Slaughter.
That's exactly right.
So it's going to be staying like this pretty much all day, huh?
So not just all day, but we're not going to see 80 again until Friday. So yeah.
Now, if you need to, you can go to North Sherwood Forest and
There
walk
you go.
inside. And
There
go
you
Indoor
go.
track, indoor
Right.
track at North Sherwood. It's not just for kids' birthday parties.
That's
It's
exactly
nice
right.
actually too. That course is very nice too.
Well, no, I'm not trying to undersell it. Is you want the kids' birthday party? The North Sherwood place is location is a fantastic spot.
That's right.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about what's going on with BREC before we get to, and we've got a great guest coming up, Nathan Triska's new athletic director. But I'm going to hit a couple topics real quick. Steering committee meeting for City Park Lakes. We had a meeting on Friday. What came from that?
We did. It was great. We had a lot of discussion about the possibilities for City Park, and our Josh Brooks, who's with Sasaki, who's the contractor that we're using to do the master plan, has come up with some pretty cool drawings in maintaining the golf course, but adding some other things. So really excited about.
Let's talk about. I mean, and I know we need to move fast here, but I do want to spend a little bit of time on this because it is something near and dear to so many people's hearts.
Right.
This particular park is a treasure for a lot of Baton Rougeans. So no matter where you go, someone's gonna be upset with it. But the fact that there is room for both a golf course and other things is an important part of the equation.
Yeah, that's the default that we're taking, especially after having looked at the survey results from the the results that came in 2-3 weeks ago from the public. We had first of all, a very large number of people giving feedback, over 1,000 surveys. And the desire, it seems to be from the survey they want us to find a win-win. How can we maintain golf presence while yet still doing a whole lot more to make it a real, very, very solid city park?
Do we know what else is being added yet? Or are we still in the talk stages
That's
on that?
still in the
Way,
start.
okay.
Way.
Yeah,
Okay.
way in
Right,
the talk
right,
stage.
right.
But really expanding the footprint to broaden what looks like. Right now, if you go to City Park and you just stand on the Dalrymple side, you think that's what City Park is, but it's much bigger than that.
Oh yeah,
it's all
It's
the way
huge.
across, up the hill, over
the hill,
across.
yeah.
And so really exposing how large and what the footprint of City Park
We'll
is.
be publishing the results of the survey here soon. We're shooting it this week, make it available for everybody to see what everybody said.
Okay, yeah, because I mean, you go behind the dog park, up the hill. You've already got playground equipment up there.
You've got playground, you've got the pool, and we're talking
Wait,
about
who-
putting a new rec center.
I didn't even know there was a pool.
Yeah.
There's a slap in the face, a slap in the forehead example.
And we're looking at possibly even putting a track up there.
Awesome.
Like a full track.
So good. All right, so that meeting's in the books. The next meeting's coming up on Thursday out in St. George.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, this is so. If you've seen the enormous amount of activity happening at Airline Highway, the State Fair, where the State Fair is held, large amount of baseball activity. We did an enormous amount of improvement to get it ready for the spring season. It's been very successful. The amount of play has been great. Now we're presenting to the community what the plan is for the next 2 years to make it into a go-to place for baseball. Baseball content. It's going to have more than just baseball. Okay. But that meeting is going to be held this Thursday at the St. George Fire Headquarters on Airline Highway. We invite everybody that's interested to come out. 5:30 to 7 o'clock. It's to show. We're going to show and display the master game plan, the renderings, the drawings, the plans, the features, the amenities, everything on there. So we encourage everybody to show up to it.
Yeah, looking forward to it. There's a lot on the table.
Yeah, that is also the site where the FEMA safe house is going to be.
Yes.
So that's an addition to that.
Right.
One more before we welcome in our guest, and that is talking about y'all's level of communication. I mean, when we talk about BREC, we're talking about the parish-wide, which means you've got 5 different mayors that are, in 5 different cities that are all looking for what's being done in their backyard.
Right.
How are we working on communication to make sure everybody's, up to speed?
Well, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So Maurice has done a great job of making sure that we have that weekly communications with the cities. And so that gives us a really good feedback with the mayors to hear what their constituents want for their cities. So you want to talk more about it?
When Jen and I first came in, the first critique we got is you guys visit us a lot, but don't do anything. And when you don't do anything, we can't find you. And then the communications break down. And so we decided, okay, we got to connect this. So we sat down for a good 6 weeks and tried to identify our major stakeholders, the commissioners, the mayors, the different council members. So we said, we've got to create a rhythm of communication with the mayors. Okay. They're not only our bosses now on the commission, but they represent the 5 cities.
Yeah.
Right. And so we have to create this united approach as much as possible so that because we represent the parish. We don't just represent one city.
Right.
And we also represent the unincorporated areas.
Right.
Okay. And so I know we're going to talk about it here about the athletic council, but the whole critique about BREC is that we stepped away from a lot of responsibilities of creating a good balance between all the different stakeholders. And we realized we weren't even meeting with the mayors. And so if we meet with the mayors, that begins a great conversation because they're meeting with their constituents. So if we can carry the message, it's fantastic. So every Wednesday and on Thursdays, we have a weekly meeting with all the mayors, each one individually. And then we eventually have group meetings, which we're about to have a big one coming up here soon to discuss safety and crime in the different parks. So it's a great rhythm. It's a great cadence. We really appreciate all their offices in helping us really connect and talk about the desires of what everybody needs and wants in their respective area of the parish.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Because, I mean, while y'all's customer is the entire parish, they have more specialized customers in each individual city.
They help us stay very grounded.
Yeah. Everybody's beholden to the public at the end of the day.
That's right.
But their public is a more narrow view. So they're going to be able to bring that view to y'all.
Right.
Kind of a zoom lens, if you will.
Yep.
All right. We're going to pivot real quick. Talk about that athletic council and our new athletic director. That would be Nathan Turquay joining us right now. Nathan, welcome to Talk 173. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
No, glad to have you on here. Let's talk a little bit about this council overall. and then we'll narrow in just a little bit. Talk about the formation and how y'all got to where you are.
Yeah, thank you. Well, like Maurice was just talking, because we're serving the entire parish, we need to represent not only all the municipalities in our parish, but also those unincorporated areas. And so as we were thinking about putting together the council, we knew that we wanted to have at least an appointee from each of the mayor's offices to serve on this council. And then we also want to have representation from the unincorporated areas. So that's who we're thinking about being at the top of the council.
What's the purpose of the council?
Well, the purpose of the council is to communicate regularly with community partnerships that we have in the area and to coordinate across our parish the sports for our youth.
So we're in East Baton Rouge Parish. This has a level of importance because so many people get lost along the way, not knowing what resources are available or what paths there are to be taken. So let's talk a little bit about why this matters.
And that is great. Yeah, you're absolutely right. In fact, I was thinking about it this morning. The Aspen Institute put together this document called The State of Play in Baton Rouge after they had evaluated what was going on in Baton Rouge. And let me go back. What was your question again? Because I'm kind of...
I talk about the importance of it because, like parents, I've got 3 kids myself, but we don't know what the city parish, what BREC has to offer on a sports front for kids. We all know if you play soccer, you go to BRSC, you play baseball, you're probably hitting up traction along the way. It's like, what does the city parish offer and how can we take advantage of it?
Right. And the Aspen Institute was saying that the council is the place where all of those conversations can be had. In fact, that's the very first recommendation it put out for that council, to find a way to make that stuff available for people to know what programming is happening in our parish.
Do we know what programming is? Because that's where I think a lot of parents would have follow-up. Work in progress?
Well, it is a work in progress, but also we partner with, so for example, BRSC, we are a partner with them.
Yeah.
And so BREC does offer soccer through BRSC.
Right.
So BREC itself, we don't necessarily do all of the athletics ourselves. We partner with other organizations who are really good at it. So the same with baseball and softball and tennis and name it. We're USTA with tennis, for example. We partner with them and with the local chapter, tennis chapter. So it's not just that BREC's not offering things. We do offer things. It's the partnerships, and we just have to make sure that we communicate that better to the community.
A couple minutes left with Nathan Turkwe, the athletic director for BREC. Let's talk a little bit about your work, you being on the job thus far. What have you picked up? What have you learned? What are you hearing from parents specifically?
Yeah, well, thank you. It has been, I told somebody it's like drinking out of a fire hydrant. There's so much to learn just about how all of the process works, but it's a great time for me to come in as Maurice and Janet are doing their work and we're restructuring some things. So perfect opportunity for that. And I've been very excited about all the people that I've gotten to work with as we've talked about and put together these plans for the council and hopefully getting that ready to go in the next week or so.
Where's your vision headed? Where do you want to take the council?
Ooh, that's a great
It's open-ended too. Yeah.
It's open-ended, and also I think this speaks, I don't necessarily want it to be entirely my vision because I want the council itself to establish its vision. And so that's why it's important that they come together and they're communicating like that to communicate a single vision out into the community.
We got to hit, we're going to take a quick break for traffic and your money now. So as we wrap up with you, Nathan, want to ask for parents that are interested and want to insert where they think the parish should be headed, how do they get hold of you? Is it we got an email or what we got?
Sure. I do have an email, nathan.turkwe. My last name is spelled TIRCUIT, and that's at brec.org.
TIRCUIT, Nathan Turkwe at brec.org. Look, speaking as a parent, I can tell you it's just something that is on everybody's, it's on the forefront of everybody's mind. It's getting the kids off the couch, getting them active.
That's right.
And organized sports, if that plays a part into this, then absolutely it should be top of mind. So Nathan, appreciate a couple minutes this morning.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. We're at 8:49 at Talk 107.3 FM. We're going to break for traffic. Your money now. We'll be back in less than 3 minutes. First of all, I'm blaming Robin because you tell me. I know how to pronounce Turkey, but you tell me what. Oh, come on, scroll up. Where are we at? That says Trisket.
It does say Trisket.
Trisket. She inverted the I and the R and put an S in there too.
That was probably an autocorrect.
Do what?
It might have been an autocorrect.
It probably was. It probably was.
Well, I've been
Y'all leave my Robin alone.
My name's been autocorrected all my life.
Do what?
Thank you for the time.
Oh, always. I can't wait to see where you're headed. All right, so we're talking about process for rentals.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's been some confusion about that.
Well, then I'm glad we started with North Sherwood because that kind of tees it up. Were we short?
Yeah, about 2 seconds.
Oh.
We're in your money
All right.
now. We're supposed to be in your money now.
It's fine.
Holy crap.
What's wrong?
So many text messages about the hail.
My friend is late getting to Ochsner. She's a nurse, and she's driving it right now. She's like, "Do I pull over?" I'm like, "No, just go. It's just sleet because it's sleet now." She was worried it was hail. I'm like, "You'll know the difference." Oh, Lord.
So the daughter just made her AAU team. She moved up a level in AAU from 13 under to 14 under. So she's on top of the world right now.
Bet.
So good.
Got your youngest?
Middle.
You have 3 girls?
2 girls and a boy. .852 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Quick shout out to everybody who brought us up to speed on the weather situation this morning. Just absolutely wild stuff with the hail and the sleet and everything, especially when you consider what it was like yesterday and the day before. I mean, we had Chamber of Commerce weather for the wearing of the green. I could speak to what the weather was like down in Metairie yesterday as I marched in that St. Patrick's Day parade, and it was legit hot. So big ups to everybody helping keep the being the eyes and ears for us out there on the roads. We got just a couple minutes left, 7.5 minutes left with the BREC Room before we tee it up for Moon Griffon. I want to move over to, if we could, Janet. We were talking in the first segment about, in the inclement weather, if you got to get your steps in, the North Sherwood Park has an indoor track. And I was referencing the birthday parties there. I think that kind of brings up some questions about when it comes to rentals and when people need permits and when they're coming to y'all.
Yeah, there was a little confusion last week. We had regarding rentals versus partnerships. So I want to kind of talk about partnerships that you can have with BREC. So if you are, let's say, an elected official or a nonprofit, and you want to go into a partnership with BREC to host an event, you can do that. And we will work together with you to allow you to use the park. You have to bring to the table things value yourself. So if it's a community event, for example, we're having a lot of Easter egg hunts coming up. BREC is doing some of those Easter egg hunts ourselves, but then you have Councilwoman Coleman doing an Easter egg hunt in her district. You've got Denise Marcel doing an Easter egg hunt at Gus Young. There are a lot of different groups that are doing Easter egg hunts. And so if you're in a partnership with BREC, if you're bringing to the table value, then we go into a partnership. You don't have to rent the park. And there was some confusion last week. So we're trying to level that up this week and make sure that everybody's aware of what's going on. But if you have an event that you want on your own and you want to rent a park, there are all kinds of parks all throughout the East Baton Rouge Parish that you can rent for your events. I'll tell you one that I was not aware of, that when I took this job, I found out about it, was the Jefferson Park right there across from Bocage. That is a beautiful facility. It's great for weddings or for any kind of parties that you want to have. It's a beautiful facility. It's kind of back on the back part of Jefferson. There's a tennis court in the front, but it's a great place to have parties or, engagement parties, weddings, all kinds of receptions. And so there are parks all over East Baton Rouge Parish that you can rent for those kinds of events. If you want to rent a park and you have a certain number of people, if you go on our BREC.org, all of these rules are specified, but if you have a certain number of people, you do have to get a permit to rent a park.
Yeah.
These are liability issues for us, right? And so we want to make sure that everybody stays safe. We want to make sure that there's not any kind of nefarious activities going on in the park system. And that kind of goes back to what Maurice was referring to earlier, a conversation that we're having with all the mayors with regards to safety in the parks. So you want to pick up.
And a lot of people don't realize that if you have an organization, any kind of organization, and you're looking for a repetitive use of the parks, the way to do that is to enter into a partnership with us.
Okay.
Not just try to rent different facilities and try to create this hodgepodge of rentals. Rentals is for one-time instances, whereas if you need rentals for an ongoing program that you're offering, talk to us about our partnership. And most people don't realize that they can have a 1-year partnership with us or a longer period with us. And that's the way we're moving, is really building partnerships with organizations.
So I can see for elected officials or for those that are representing some entity of government or whatnot, the partnership would be a series of one-offs, right?
Correct.
But what would be an example of someone else who would be looking to enter a partnership?
BRSC.
Okay, that's
a perfect example of that.
Yeah.
We're in a partnership with them where they're providing the services for soccer. We're not doing it; they are doing it, and they use the Burbank fields for that.
Yeah.
Oh, and some independents.
Yeah.
So
families want to start an organization and they want to provide ballet classes.
Okay.
And they want to offer them a lot. They don't, so they start off with a rental, but then when they start renting more and more, then we move them into a partnership. Why? Because it secures it establishes much more structure. It gives them protection. It gives us a sharing of values, sharing of services, and it allows us to really organize things a whole lot better rather than having everybody individually renting things. And really, there's a lot of us stepping over each other. So we try to limit that.
Another partnership is the Botanical Gardens, for example, at Independence Park.
Yeah.
Have y'all walked around those gardens? They're beautiful.
So every time my kids have cross country out there, and I'll take the track around the outside. I'll take the sidewalk around the outside.
Right. So that is a partnership with the organization, Botanical Gardens.
The Botanical Gardens themselves are a partnership. That's not y'all's. That's a partnership.
Well, that's what's interesting is BREC has tried to be too much for too long, everything for everybody, as opposed to saying, no, we're basically very good landlords, very good services of properties, very good facilities. We're going to get more and more out of providing, quote, like you said, our own, but rather instead let other organizations come and use the facilities and bring what they're good at. And
subject matter
experts. And so we're going to be building more and more partnerships, which provides better service rather than us being the ones that create the service and thus compete against everybody else. That's
Guild is another one.
Yeah. So we have a whole department. We have a whole department dedicated for this. So if anybody's interested, go to rentals. If you go to brec.org/rentals, or just contact us and speak to our partnership and development department. And we have a whole team dedicated to nothing but helping everybody understand how to build partnersks with us.
Yeah, and you'd be amazed. And I'm also bringing we bring up birthday parties. Yeah, but we're in crawfish season pretty soon, or now.
We are now.
And Forest Community Park might be the best venue if you're hosting something like that for to make sure you got a pavilion or
That's
whatever.
Maurice's own personal park.
Then
you want to meet with me? Go walk with me.
Care of Maurice in the subject line. To
And
be
you know what a
absolutely
lot of
sure.
people don't realize? Look, you got a group of 15, 20 people. You want to go play volleyball? Go grab a park. Grab some open property. You want to put out some tables for they're open public property. You know, so you don't have to rent if you want to. You don't have to rent open space to go and have fun.
Right
at Forest Park, there's a bunch of people playing soccer. They don't have to rent the place for that. So just come out to the parks and really enjoy the open grass area. But if you want to rent something available, and if you want something bigger than that, come partner with us.
Well, I wanted to make sure I mentioned Forest because I think that like if you're not on Harold's Ferry, you don't see it every day. And even if you are on Harold's Ferry, you'll see the baseball field and maybe the gym, but not that expansive land that's behind it. Which same thing we talked about with City Park. Same thing we talked about with Jefferson.
Right. This is another one. The Holy Grill is also another partnership that we have with the Interfaith group.
That's what we're going to call it for today. You've been listening to the BREC Room. Janet,
Thanks,
Maurice,
Brian.
always appreciate it.
Thank
Moon
you.
Griffon's next.
I didn't realize we were up against the.
I didn't want to pivot over to Magnolia Mountain with less than 2 minutes to go. There was nothing really time sensitive in that one.
And that was really good conversation.
Yeah, I thought so as well.
Yeah.
So
went quicker than I.
Yep.
No.
Facebook. We'll see you later.
Guys.
The